maybe they can build on it. So Eastern needs to come out of the gate strong.
Is that phrase commonly used? If you can throw it, you can run it?
Yeah, well, usually it's if you
true?
can run it, you can throw it.
Right.
But I think in today's game, it's changed. I think you can throw the ball to open up the running game, and that's what Eastern really needs to do is come out on some first down, make some passes, and then they can run the football, and then you can start calling your shots whenever you want. But don't be predictable. Don't run first, second, and throw on third, because you're an 0-6 football team. Obviously, you don't have that many weapons offensively where you can have that type of luxury of being predictable.
During the pregame show, Brian Nemorowski talked with Ron English, and the head coach said both Kyle McMahon and Alex Gillette have something to offer. What do each have to offer to this offense that is beneficial, do you think?
Well, I think Gillette, his elusiveness in the pocket, his ability to run the football on the zone keep by the quarterback. But I think Kyle McMahon possesses that as well. I think he's just a little bit more of a complete quarterback. He throws the ball a little bit better, a little sharper, and he also can run the ball extremely well. Now, remember, last year he was thought of as the running quarterback
That's
of
right.
the two.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he becomes a throwing quarterback because you got a kid that runs a little bit better. So I don't know. I mean, it's Ron English is with him every day. Head coach, he knows what he's doing. I just see him on the Saturdays right now. So if you can be effective with the platoon system, dude, I'm not a big fan of running two quarterbacks, but if he feels it'll work, then let's see it and roll the dice and see what happens here.
All right, so Eastern Michigan will receive the kickoff. And back deep is Corey Welch and Johnny Sears. Jake Hogney, who averages 62 yards per kickoff, puts a right foot into it, and we're underway. A side-winding kick that Sears will take at the 3 to the 5 between the hashes, 10, 15. Broke free from a tackle, breaks free, 25, 30, 35 near sideline, 40, 45, and then ran out of bounds at the Ball State 46-yard line. Nice return and a really good way to start for Eagle Nation.
Now, we talked about coming out of the gate quickly, and there's no better way to do that than a nice 45-yard or 50-yard kickoff return by Johnny Sears. He showed good speed, really getting through the seam. One Ball State defender got a hand on him, but not enough, and Eagles starting on the plus side of the 50.
Decent-sized defensive line for Ball State, but they boast just 8 sacks on the season. Eastern Michigan has surrendered 13 sacks so far this year. Kyle McMahon under center. Play action immediately. Rolls to the near side. Eyes downfield. Throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Garrett Hoskins, who gets the start at tight end. Hoskins only 2 catches on the year. So far this season, it's 2nd down and 10. The offensive line loses Eric Davis again, Rob. A lot of people will overlook that offensive line. I know quarterbacks, receivers, running backs don't, and I know you don't as an analyst. He's a big, strong, tough,
and he's a
durable center.
You know, that's the quarterback of your offensive line.
The give left side for the Eagles. Now, the Eagles are going to run some different looks at us with running back wise. We've seen it a number of times, but Dominique Shearer gets that call right there. Corey Welch is back. They expect Dwayne Priest to be back as well, and Priest actually did carry that one, 22 instead of 32.
No, am I mistaken? Isn't that 78 centering the ball though, Matt?
Yeah, guys, that was a late change from down here. He started the day in street clothes, but got a little bit of treatment, and Eric Davis is a late addition to the Eagles' full offensive line.
Well, that's huge. I mean, that's huge in a number of ways. Good snap. McMahon throws a quick slant. It's caught at the 35. Should be enough for a first down. That was a really good pitch and catch from Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, nice job by Nick Olds using his body to shield the defender. And then he was able to stretch the ball out and move the chains. Nice first 3rd down completion. But, you know, getting back to the start, they ran a little bootleg pass on first down. I like to see it. Loosen up the defense a little bit. Ron English, Ken Karcher becoming a little bit more creative here. And sometimes you have to. When you don't have the weapons, you know, it's like being a poker player. If you're getting king high offsuits every time, you better be able to bluff.
93rd first down of the year for Eastern Michigan. Moving left to right, first drive of the day. In a scoreless ball game, DeAnthony White comes in motion from the far side. A handoff, they'll go on the ground to the 30, to the 25, and then tripped up inside the 25-yard line. Dwayne Priest with a nice little bolt on first down for a first down.
And that's a nice job seeing the cutback. Ball State really getting penetration at the point of attack. Dwayne Priest sensed it early, was able to plant and cut back against the flow of the defense for a nice 12, 13-yard gain and 2 consecutive first downs.
Be interesting to see if Kyle McMahon can get Ja'Cory Stone a little bit more involved. Just 27 catches on the year, and he split wide to the left. Nick Olds, same on the right. McMahon with another good play action. Rolls to the near side. This time he connects with his tight end. That was the opening play right there. This time it worked, and this time it was John Bonner hauling it in.
Yeah, they saw something. The opening play was also there, and they run Nick Olds, who was the wide out to the right. They run him on a post that pulls the safety in the corner out of the area, and then they just release the tight end after he slow blocks down inside, then releases to the flat as Kyle McMahon rolls out there. Nice little 9-yard gain. Some creativity offensively here.
Bonner's 4th catch of the season, 2nd down and 1. McMahon under center with 2 wide receivers split wide to the left. Priest the lone setback, ball at the near side hash, moving left to right. The give to Priest, slicing his way close to a 1st down. Let's see if he got it. Might be a little bit short. Needed to get to the 12-yard line.
Let's see, the Eagles improved their short yardage game, Matt. This was the turning point last week, as you remember, against Kent State. Was it a 14-6 game at the time? And the Eagles had it 1st and goal on the 1-yard line, them having 4th down and goal on the 6.
3rd down and short. McMahon straight ahead. Should be enough for the 1st down. Eastern converts just 39% on 3rd downs, and Ball State allows opponents to convert just 39% on 3rd down plays.
Boy, they didn't give him a very good spot, but I think it's enough.
Robert Edens made the tackle. Redshirt junior, who now has 34 on the season, and it is a 1st down. Ball State coming off a 31-17 loss to Bowling Green at home. They were down 24-zip at the break in that one. So the 2nd straight team that Eastern Michigan plays who has played the Falcons prior to. Stone split wide left. Nick Olds same to the right. That's the short side of the field on a 1st and 10 for Kyle McMahon and the Eagles. 11:25 left to go in the 1st. The give to Priest, slicing his way past the 10, still on his feet close to the 5-yard line. Good ankle tackle by Alex Knipp.
Nice looking drive by the Eagles. Some good 1st down plays.
Well, they've really had a good balance in this drive.
But when you come out, they've thrown the ball, what, 3 times now already? In this 1st drive, 2 out of 3 completions for 19 yards. And they've rushed the ball for 5 times for 20 yards, so a nice mix. But it all starts with the nice special teams play, man.
You're right.
Good return.
Yeah, it helps to have good starting field position. Tyrone Burke split wide to the left. Trey Hunter in the slot to the same side. Priest the lone setback on a 2nd down and 4 for the Eagles. McMahon gives to Priest right side. Dashes inside the 5. Pushed his way to the 4. Needed to get to the 2 for a 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. Now, in the pregame show, Ron English talked about it. Look, it's nice that we're able to move the ball. We must get touchdowns. We have to expand our offense. We cannot settle for field goals. That's what they did a week ago. You talked about it a little bit. And now this is an opportunity where they need 6 out of this. They're 2 for 2 on 3rd down so far.
And especially when your defense is having a hard time keeping people out of the end zone. When other teams are getting 7 on their drives and you're only getting 3, doesn't take long. You know what happens there. You start digging yourself a pretty big hole.
Double tight end set, both on the right side. Now Hoskins comes in motion right to left. Priest goes the left side, breaks a couple of tackles, and then slithered his way inside the 5 to about the 3. He's going to be about a yard shy. Let's see what Ron English does here.
Kick it.
I'd go for it.
Well, there you go. You got the call. I mean, yeah, you know what? You're 0-6, Matt. You're right.
Right.
And if you don't get it in this situation here, you got Ball State pent up deep.
I'd love to see a play-action roll here because it gives McMahon that opportunity that you like to see him either use his feet or his arm, and both are pretty good. Old split wide left, Stone to the right side.
You may have called. We may see that same bootleg they've run twice in this drive already.
Eastern Michigan 6 for 10 on the year on 4th downs. Play action, roll to the near side, pump fakes once, then delivers. He's got it. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan. Ben Thayer. Beautiful call, beautiful execution.
And then what a nice job by Ben when he released. He was open early, but Kyle McMahon, who was rolling his way, wasn't ready to deliver the ball. Thayer kept working at a flat. He delivers the ball after a little bit of a pump fake, and then Ben catches it on about the 1 or 2. He's getting tackled. He reaches the ball across the goal line for the touchdown.
First touchdown of the year for Ben Thayer. Just the 3rd passing touchdown for Eastern Michigan this season.
They're going to review this, see if his knee was down before he stretched the ball across. I'm not sure Nemo was down there. Did you have a good Nemo? Did you have a good view of that?
Yeah, I could have tackled him if I wanted to. I was so close. But
I don't know if you could.
Well, you could have tried.
Taking his legs out, at least. It looked to me like they did get the ball over before the knee went down. He did an interesting thing. He looked like he thought he was going to break the tackle initially, so he cradled the ball well, did the smart thing, and then when he realized he was going down just at the last minute, extended out that right hand. The ball definitely broke the plane, and I think it happened before the knee went down.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a simultaneous thing, Nemo, when his knee was touching, the ball was also stretched over. You know, Eastern, if they get this touchdown and convert the extra point, that's more points today than they've got the entire year in the first quarter. Oh, no.
They only have, well, it's almost. They have 9 points total in the first quarter all year.
It's going to be a really good start for this Eagle team.
A phenomenal start. You kidding me? It'd be great.
And we talked about the keys. One was be a little more creative, throw on first down.
Yep.
We saw that in this drive. And the other one was to get the fast start. We saw that with the opening kickoff return, and now
and
to get the touchdown.
And to get
here.
touchdowns.
Yes,
I mean, not just field goals. We're talking touchdowns. That's the only touchdown they've scored in the first quarter this year. 3 field goals prior to. So they're taking a nice long look at this to make sure Ben Thayer was able to cash in for that touchdown. Kyle McMahon hoping for his first touchdown pass of the season. Andy Schmidt's the only one to throw for a touchdown. It is good. So Eastern Michigan up 6-0 now.
Well, a well-engineered drive by Kyle McMahon. I got to believe that's going to, I know they're going to alternate series, how Ron English, he just has a feel for when he puts one in the other, but after that drive, you got to believe you can see Kyle McMahon again when the Eagles get the ball back.
I would think so. Joe Carruthers now on for the extra point. 7 for 7 on the year. And make it 8 for 8. So the first touchdown of Ben Thayer's career comes in the opening frame. The first time it's happened for the Eagles so far this season. They lead 7-0 at home against Ball State. More to come from Rynearson Stadium after this. This is EMU football. .45 yards in a little bit less than 6 minutes. They use just 10 plays, and they score their first touchdown. In the opening quarter, they lead the Cardinals of Ball State 7-0. Alongside Rob Rubik, Brian Nemorowski, my name is Matt Shepard. Joe Carruthers now set to kick it away, averaging 54.5 yards per kickoff. The wind more in his face than not, and this one goes out of bounds. And a faux pas on special teams. As good as special teams was, to get them in good field position, and a great kick return from Johnny Sears. Now, Joe Carruthers compounds a nasty issue by kicking it out of bounds. That allows Ball State to take over at the 40-yard line. So 60 yards away for a Cardinals offense that averages 296.5 yards per game. Led by Tanner Justice, fifth-year senior, who has only thrown 34 times this year, but prior to that, in all his collegiate playing game experience, had thrown for just 5 yards. McQuail Lewis starts things off for the Cardinals, coming off a season-best 120-yard performance against Bowling Green. Lewis, number 3 in Ball State history in 100-yard games, number 5 all-time in carries, number 4 all-time in touchdowns, and number 6 all-time, or 5 all-time in yards, 6 all-time in carries. not a senior on the offensive line.
Little Wildcat.
A direct snap and up the gut and getting to the 50-yard line. Ball State with a positive play. What do you think of the Wildcat in general, Rob? I mean, I've always heard the argument it doesn't work against a really good defense. Do you buy that,
no,
or is it
I
a
don't
gimmick?
necessarily,
What is
but
it?
I don't think it's not a gimmick if you do it all the time. I think like the Dolphins, they do a nice job with it because that's part of their offense. You know, they're getting 10, 15 plays a game in the Wildcat. For teams that try to do it like Ball State just did, they had a freshman running back, Eric Williams, number 6, and they have him in a shotgun again. Now, can he throw? I don't know. That's the thing about it. You got a freshman, too, so if you're Eagles,
Right.
this is kind of uncharted territory.
2 wide receivers to the left. Williams gives inside. This is Corey Sykes with good speed, and he gets to the 45-yard line of EMU.
You know, if I'm Eastern and I see this Wildcat, though, I'm going to start bringing a lot of people up. And
Yeah, how do you defend it?
I would just man up outside, and then you can just bring 7, 8 people in the box, and that's how I would defend it, because you got to show me that kid can throw the ball out of it.
Brian Nemirovsky.
Eric Williams is the main Wildcat guy for Ball State, and he's a guy who Ron English liked a lot. Recruited him at Louisville, thought he could be a good defensive back, but Williams wanted to play offense, so he ended up at Ball State, and they're using him right away.
He's rushed for a little bit more than 120 yards so far this year. Now Tanner Justice is back in and under center for the Cardinals on a 2nd down and 5. He gives to Williams. Oh, and he's crushed as soon as he takes reception of the handoff. He's buried by Brad Orman, the redshirt sophomore from Adrian High School. Nice tackle for loss, his 2nd of the year, and an injured Cardinal, and that looks like Eric Williams. It is. Oh, ran right into a bear hug, and he's still down.
Well, Javon Reese, after Brad Orman hit him in the backfield, Williams got kind of bent over backwards by Javon Reese, who cleaned it up a little bit. There's a little bit of a drizzle. Light rain starts to fall on Rynearson Stadium here, and our counterpart on the sideline, Brian Nemirovsky. Hopefully you stay dry, Nemo. Be quick, dodge the drops.
The bus traveling back to campus will pick up.
I brought an umbrella down with me.
Oh,
but
no.
was
You can't use an
chastised.
umbrella, Matt.
Oh,
Matt
just
Shepard.
ridicule from the guys in the booth.
Real men, Nemo, do not use umbrellas.
But
What did he-
dodging the raindrops is okay.
That's
huh?
okay. It shows quickness.
I don't think I've ever seen you use an umbrella. That's why it stunned me when you said you wanted to use one today, and it was barely raining out there. Just trying to keep up your tough guy image, that's all. Speaking of tough, how difficult will it be next week in Arkansas as Eastern Michigan travels to Razorback country to take on Arkansas for the first time ever?
Not as tough it is for the Northwestern Wildcats right now at home. Although they just scored, it's 28-10, Indiana leading. The Buckeyes up 7-0 on Minnesota with 7 to go in the first half. And Purdue all over Illinois, 21-7, almost at the break. Michigan Penn State starts a little bit later on, and get a few early max scores here as well. Central up 14-7 on BG with 9 minutes remaining in the second quarter. No score with Northern Illinois and Miami of Ohio in the first quarter. Just started at 1 o'clock start, and
But
the other,
Miami's really struggling too.
all the other MAC games start a little bit later on.
Miami 0-7 on the year. Northern Illinois 3-3. Will be in.
That's a trap game though for the Chips.
We'll
so
be in
they're-
Great DeKalb a couple of weeks from now on a Thursday night. Out of the shotgun, Tanner Justice to throw. Looks right, dumps it off to Lewis, and he's smothered. Tim Fort came up, read it well, and pounded him at the 45-yard line. Back-to-back losses on plays for the Cardinals, and they're forced to punt it away for the 37th time this year.
And that was a perfect defensive call. They had Tim Fort was matched up man-to-man on the running back that time. Lewis so as soon as he started leaking in a flat, Fort, the linebacker, was right with him. As the ball rise, so did Fort for a nice play and forcing the punt.
Big pressure, but a spiraling kick. Ja'Cory Stone waves off for a fair catch and takes it at the 11-yard line. A 44-yard punt from Scott Cavanda. And that's where Eastern Michigan takes over. 1st and 10. Let's hope. You don't expect them to do the same thing every time they get to football because adjustments are constantly being made, but you had to be impressed with the way they moved the football on their first drive. I don't know if it was as much Eastern Michigan's offense as Ball State's defense, but when you have a balance like that, you got to give credit to the offense, don't you?
Yeah, you do it. I thought Ball State defensively, really, you look, Eastern drove 45 yards, but it took them 10 plays.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of nickel and dime their way down the field, but they were able to do that. That's tough to do without making a penalty or incomplete pass, and the Eagles executed well. We've seen in the past where Eastern's had drives, Matt, and the lack of execution somewhere in that drive, a drop ball, a penalty, has just really, stunted the drives to where they could not finish them. That time they were able to avoid it. They didn't have any penalties, no drop balls, and when you can do that, you have such a better chance of being successful.
Eastern Michigan earlier in this quarter scored just their 10th touchdown of the season. Wow. Kyle McMahon on that first offensive drive went 3 for 4 through the air, threw for 22 yards, including the touchdown to Ben Thayer. His first of the season, and Ben Thayer's first of his career. 5:54 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Eagles. They take over, moving left to right at their own 11. McMahon out of the gun. Tosses to DeAnthony White right side and went right through his fingertips and out of bounds. An incomplete pass.
A little flat pass at D. White, and he had space out there. It's going to be about a 5 to 7 yard gain. But you got to, the ball was a little bit high, a little bit to his back shoulder, but you got to make that catch. We talked about execution. In that first drive, they were able to avoid the drop balls. That time they start out 1st and 10 with a drop, and now he puts you in a 2nd and long situation. This is advantage defense.
Hey, what's the point of a play like that? Is it, you're hoping the receiver can make one guy miss and it can turn into something big, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Again, out of the gun. Inside fake. McMahon keeps it, tries the right side, got a couple of yards, and that's it.
That's a play we haven't seen much by the Eagles with Kyle McMahon. We've seen Gillette run that. The quarterback keep off the inside zone read. That time Kyle McMahon got it. Looked like there was a little bit of a hole, but the white shirts closed it quickly. So far, the Eagles 66% on 3rd down conversions, 2 of 3 in that first drive. This will be a little bit bigger test here with a 3rd down and 8.
Clock running at 5:20 of this opening quarter. 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. McMahon works his way out of the gun. Good snap. Pressure comes, throws across the middle, and incomplete. Intended for Nick Olds, and good coverage by Corrine Birch, the redshirt sophomore, and Eastern Michigan goes 3 and out.
Pass intended for Olds, first the defender.
Well, Ball State accomplished defensively what they wanted to do after the nice 43-yard net punt, forcing a 3 and out where they're going to get the ball back near midfield, right where the last drive pretty much stalled for them. So
Charlie Todd,
Ball State's got to be pretty pleased with the effort of their defense.
Zach Johnson to punt it away, averaging 42 yards per punt, number 1 in the MAC, 43rd in the nation. Good snap, eye high, doesn't turn over, a spiraling kick, and a fair catch made at the Ball State 49-yard line by Charlie Todd.
That's a pretty good punt, though, into
Very
what
good
looks
punt.
like into a pretty stiff wind right in his face.
Timeout on the field. Ball State takes over. When we return, it's the Eagles 7, the Cardinals nothing. This is EMU football. Alongside Rob Rubik, I'm Matt Shepard. Glad to have you along. Brian Nemirovsky on the sidelines, a sprint right side, and then the inside handoff, Corey Sykes down the left sideline, 25-20, 15-10, 5, touchdown Ball State. Well, that play worked.
That's the old Toledo Rocket sprint draw, but they run a little bit different with the quarterback, Tanner Justice. He starts rolling to his right, and And then he just hands it back that time, and Corey Sykes showed some tremendous speed, cutting back against the grain for a 52-yard touchdown run.
Wow, his longest of his career. And the longest running play from scrimmage for Ball State this season. Steve shot on for the extra point, 11 of 13 on the season, and we're a right-footed kick through the uprights away from being tied, but it's blocked. Eastern Michigan got a part of it. It looked like Ryan Leonard. Good penetration by Ryan Leonard to get a right paw on it and keep the Eagles in front 7-6.
Good penetration inside. And that's where, people, you see them coming hard off the edge, but rarely do the guys off the edge get it. When you see a block, extra point, or field goal, it's usually someone inside. Sean Rogers, when he played with the Lions, now with the Browns, he's
really
the one that
good
gets
job.
penetration at 6'5" frame. Now Ryan Leonard, he's not as big as some.
Is a lot
only
of it
stands 6 foot tall, but he had great penetration.
Is a lot of it up the middle or not from the side, because you have to, I mean, the timing has to be so precise.
Yeah,
right?
on the side, and the way teams execute with the snap and the kick now, it's almost impossible to get from the edge. But what happens is you get a double. You get two of the defensive linemen. They'll get the double push and try to take one of the guard or the center to create a seam where one can slide off and get inside and get penetration.
You played a lot of special teams in your NFL career. Have you ever seen a long snapper, a holder, whoever makes the call, go on anything other than one?
Well, you really don't go on one. It's just all on the hand signal by the yeah.
Okay.
And then it's up to the center to snap it when he wants to, after the okay's hand signal by the holder.
The reason I ask that is because obviously guys coming from the edge, I mean, suddenly they'd be able
They
to
could time it up.
Yeah. Johnny Sears, who had a really good return to start the game, takes it from the 5. Far sideline now to the near side. Oh, and he's upended at the 16-yard line. Really good special teams tackle made there by number 10, Jason Pinkston. Brian Nemirovsky.
On that blocked extra point, the snapper, Cody Muhlenkamp, spent a lot of time debating with the official as to whether Ryan Leonard had come off the ball early. The official, Tony Cannella, just kind of looked at him with a look like saying, "You're the long snapper. What are you here talking about?"
What can you see? You're supposed to be looking, you're snapping the ball anyways.
So the Eagles up by 1 now with 4:47 remaining in the first. They're 1st and 10 from their own 17. McMahon gives to Priest. Priest gets to the 20-yard line. Terrence Blevins had a decent start to last week's game.
Yeah, and he's a change of pace back. He's the bigger type pounding back. Dwayne Priest quicker. Can run the zone play nice because he can get outside and cut it up when it needs to be cut and get through the little bit of a seam that's created. This is a big drive, Eagles. They got to get a first down or two here, man. I think if nothing else, get out of the first quarter to get the wind at their back so they can start reestablishing some field position.
Priest picked up 3 on that play. 2nd down and 7 now. He'll get the call again, right side. Jitterbugs his way, but couldn't get to the edge and lost a yard. You want to limit those negative plays, something that neither Eastern nor Ball State have been able to do regularly this year.
Now you're facing a big 3rd down and 6. You need to try to possess the ball here, get a first down, and if not, Zach Johnson will be punting into that stiff wind again.
Stone and Welch are to the left. Also, Garrett Hoskins is in trips formation over there. Twins to the right, out of the gun, empty backfield. McMahon turns, fires, and connects with Nick Olds for a first down.
Boy,
they make it look
cushion.
so simple, but they're getting a lot of cushion on the outside.
Kareem Birch, the corner to that side, was playing about 8 or 9 yards off, and his first step was backwards. Nick Olds just ran up the field about 7, 8 yards and ran a curl route. Birch was still in his back pedal, so he must have had deep third in the coverage, Matt.
Is that a read on the part of the quarterback and wide receiver?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a read. If he comes up in a press, no Olds is going to run a fade route. If he drops off in coverage, he's just going to curl it at the sticks.
5th first down of the day for Eastern Michigan. Good play action. McMahon rolls to the near side and then throws it away. Smart decision. Wanted Tyrone Burke, but Burke wasn't able to beat Jakeem Gregory, who didn't bite on the play action pass.
Now they run that skinny post about 3 or 4 times, and Gregory doing a nice job, as you said, really staying with the receiver. Game clock still running. The official's probably going to reset, put about 10 seconds back on it after the incomplete pass.
Reads 2:48 right now. it should read 255. Eastern Michigan at Arkansas next week to tangle with the Razorbacks in Fayetteville, Arkansas. That's where they play. Ball State, in the meantime, comes home to take on Ohio University before traveling to Northern Illinois.
Ohio, a team that's really playing well this year,
Yeah,
too.
the Bobcats are pretty good. McMahon under center. 3-step drop, throws across the middle, and it's incomplete. Looking for Trey Hunter, who couldn't get off his jam and get to that slant position for a catch. And it's third down and 10, rather.
Well, the Eagles another 3rd down and long. Last time they were able to convert on a 3rd and 6. Now a 3rd and 10. They're 3 out of 5 on 3rd down conversion. So 60% rate is pretty good. But you hate to keep putting yourself in 3rd down and 10 situations because that's difficult. The defense can get at you. Your intermediate and short passing game is taken out of the equation. You got to get the ball down the field.
That passing game averages was just 145 per game this year.
Corey Welch in the game, your possible screen situation.
Trips to the left. Welch now comes up, and McMahon rolls that side. Pressure coming from the backside. He slings it out, and it is incomplete. So it's 4th down, intended for
Ja'Cory
Stone.
Yeah. Just a little bit too high.
Yep.
Once again, that wind I really think is a factor throwing into it. Eastern just right now needs to.
Well, especially when you're rolling to your left and you're a right-handed quarterback. I mean, I think McMahon does a really good job of squaring his shoulders toward his target, but that is really hard to do. And plus, he could feel the pressure coming from the backside from Robert Edmonds.
Johnson back to punt.
So Zach Johnson will kick it deep. Charlie Todd with his toes at his own 30. Not much pressure coming.
Nice.
Todd shifting to his right and immediately tackled at the 29-yard line. Good downfield tackle.
40-yard punt.
After the 40-yard punt by Mark Mitchell. Mitchell with a really good open field tackle. Brian Nemorowski, what's going on with the injuries?
Well, with Ball State taking back over on offense, they'll likely be without freshman running back Eric Williams. A right knee injury should keep him out for the rest of this game. Eastern Michigan's defense is without Marcus English today, and they've countered by changing their game plan, going with a lot of 5 defensive back looks. Look for J-Ron Gillespie in that star position for the EMU nickel package. One last injury note, Andy Schmidt had knee surgery this past Tuesday, did not come out with the team today, and we certainly wish him a speedy recovery.
Corey Sykes, pretty speedy. He had that touchdown run for Ball State earlier, flag on the play, after he picked up about 13. So it's been more of Corey Sykes than McQuail Lewis. Lewis the senior, Sykes the sophomore, but you like his burst, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's got some wheels now. He gets through there quickly, and then he can kind of take it to the edge and get down the side. But this is going to come back. I think we're going to have a holding call. Oh, chop block or clipping. That's a 15. That's a huge penalty. Now you're 1st and 25. Talk about throwing the offensive coordinator for a loop here. I think right now in the mindset, if you're calling the plays, Matt, you're saying it's 1st and 25. We got to try to get 3 plays of 8 or 9 yards instead of thinking we got to get 1 of 25. You got to chip away at it.
That 15-yard penalty pushes them back inside the 15-yard line. Ball State staring, as you mentioned, at a 1st down and 25 now. Lewis the lone setback with Justice under center. Gives to Lewis right side. Tries to get to the corner but can't because it's sealed off by Marty Cardwell. Cardwell with his 40th tackle on the year. That's tops amongst the secondary players.
3rd tackle today already for Marty Cardwell. You know, this is a situation now when you got number 33, McQuail Lewis, with his ability. If you're Ball State and I'm calling the plays, I'm going to try to get him the ball in space somehow. Motion him out of the backfield, run a screen to him, do something, draw. Try to get Eastern, give him a chance to get a little head of steam and make something happen.
Lewis last year set the single-season rushing record in the 08 MAC championship game. Was 7th in the nation in scoring per game. And 5th in the nation with 124 yards per game. Justice forced to throw. Backpedals even more. Leonard's after him, and it forces Justice to throw it away.
He did a good job finding a receiver coming back to the ball. That time I think it was Danielle Ift, because he could have got an intentional grounding back on his own 1-yard line. If did a good job of working his way back to the quarterback, giving Justice an out.
So now 3rd down and 23 for Ball State.
This says draw screen written all over it here, Matt.
Yep. 2 wide receivers to the left, same to the right.
Watch the receivers run everyone off here, run some deep routes. Well, it looks like Tanner Justice might be checking.
Ball at the right hash, moving right to left and into the wind for the Cardinals. And a flag stops the play.
Was it a delay? No, false start.
A penalty against Travis Arnold. 6'8", 299 pounds.
He's a Denny's breakfast from 3 Bills, huh?
Yes, he is. Or a golden egg breakfast, if you want to stay in Ypsilanti. Jeff Fulton and I breaking bread there earlier today.
3rd down and 20.
A little bonding session between 2 co-workers. Always good to visit with Fulton, full of stories. 3rd down and long. Here's the draw to Mikhail Lewis. Sprints free, 20, look out, 25-30. Uh-oh, 35-40, and then tracked down at the 43-yard line by Chris May. What in the world happened
know what,
there?
Matt? And everyone in the house knows they're going to run it. They're going to run a screen or a draw. It's 3rd down in half of Washtenaw County.
Man alive.
You're not going to throw a 30-yard pass down the field. It's going to get picked off. You can run a screen or draw something safe, and they get the first down.
What happens? What happens if people aren't controlling their gaps? People aren't staying true to what they're supposed to be doing? What is it?
People not being football players. I don't know. I mean, linebacker, you got to be thinking they're going to run a draw.
That's crazy.
I'm sure the coaches on the sidelines. Yeah.
It's inexcusable. Briggs, Orsborn, split wide left. 2 wide receivers to the right. Tanner Justice. And there's that Toledo-type jet draw as he gives it to Corey Sykes.
Should be the last play of the first quarter.
Justice sprints to the right and then gives with Sykes moving the other way inside. And he picked up about 6-7 yards on that play, just shy of the 50-yard line.
I'm Ball State here. I might try to take a shot
Sure.
throwing the ball. 2nd down and 4 near midfield. You got the wind at your back. 10 seconds and counting down here as they come to the ball in the first quarter.
Orsborn left. Daniel Ift split wide to the right. 4 seconds to go in the quarter. They're going to run it. Oh, and Sykes looked like his knee buckled and he stumbled and fell for a 1-yard loss. That'll do it for the opening quarter. Each team has scored. The difference has been a blocked extra point. That block courtesy of Ryan Leonard. 7-6 Eagles. The second quarter comes up when we come back. After this, you're listening to EMU Football. Seven-6 Eagles in front of the Cardinals from Ball State alongside Rob Rubik, Brian Nemorowski. My name is Matt Shepard. Glad you could join us on this Saturday afternoon. Both teams looking for their first wins of the year. Ball State 0-7, EMU 0-6, and each team has scored in this opening quarter. It's 7-6 Eastern. Ryan Leonard with a blocked extra point. The difference right now, but boy, what a tough thing to swallow when Ball State's staring at a 3rd down and 23. They run a draw deep in their own area, and Mikhail Lewis picks up not just 23 but 31, and now the Cardinals have a little bit of momentum going for them.
Quick couple of scores to pass along as they get started. One real quick one. Keep an eye on Central Michigan Bowling Green. Chips up 14-10.
Moving left to right now, the Cardinals with Justice. rushed, fumbled, and Eastern's got it. At the 38-yard line, huge pressure. Ryan Leonard again, he has been a standout on special teams and defense. He forced the fumble, and the Eagles recover.
Well, Eagles brought pressure from the right side. That's just inexperience of the quarterback, Tanner Justice. He's got to be able to see that blitz coming from his right. That's to his vision side. And as Ryan Leonard delivered the blow, Brandon Downs is there to jump on the football. So a good job by the Eagles, reestablishing field position. Now at the short field, first time they got on the plus side of the 50, they were able to take it in for a touchdown. Let's see if they can match that feat here.
5th fumble recovery of the year for EMU. And they'll have a 39-yard field to work with. Pretty impressive stuff right there. The defense coming up big. And how about Ryan Leonard coming through? A junior from Carrollton, Texas, Hebron High School, a transfer from SMU, played College of the Sequoias where he was an All-American junior college player. Helped his high school win a Division II state championship in 4A and was the captain of that squad. And coming into the game, just 14 tackles. We've mentioned his name probably more than anybody else in our broadcast from a defensive standpoint.
Well, that's what they've needed. This defense has not had that inside presence this year. They lost Josh Hunt last year, a senior, was a pretty good job inside the D tackle. And they really haven't anyone step up. Their D ends have been pretty effective with Javon Reese and Brandon Downs doing a good job coming off the edge, as well as Slater. But now they have pressure from the inside. And if you can do that, you can be a much more effective defense when you can bring even pressure and constrict that pocket.
14:54 remaining here in the opening half. Eagles 7, Cardinals 6, and Eastern Michigan tries to take advantage of the turnover. And now Alex Gillette comes out to run the offense. Ja'Cory Stone and DeAnthony White are to the right. Nick Olds to the left. Two tailbacks side by side with Gillette. Corey Welch to his right. Dominic Scherer to the left. Gillette will work out of the gun. Good snap and an inside fake. Gillette rolls to the right. Outside the pocket. Still looking. Steps up. Still looking downfield. Throwing, and it is incomplete. Almost picked off.
Well, DeAnthony White caught the ball, but he was a good yard out of bounds, and he paid the price too. After he caught the ball, Kareem Birch really delivered a blow on him in front of the Ball State friendly over there. And Gillette did a nice job of buying extra time, as you said, Matt, getting out of the pocket, showing his elusiveness.
Why do you think the switch, though, at quarterback?
Oh, the last couple of series for Eastern have not been very effective when they've gone 3 and out. So I think Kyle McMahon at his run after that first drive, he bought himself a couple extra.
Gillette with an inside give. DeAnthony White sprints to the right side, makes a move to the 35, down the far sideline, and close to a first down. Might be a yard shy. Should bring up a 3rd down and 1, but a good play and a pickup of 9.
A nice job by Steven Johnson getting out on the edge, pulling from his inside position, getting out on the edge, making a nice block. And DeAnthony White did a nice job setting it up, Matt. He took it up the field, used the block, and then popped to the edge and used his speed to pick up 8.5 yards.
Johnson last year starting 9 games, but playing in all 12. Helps to have that experience, that's for sure. He's a senior. Double tight end set now on a 3rd down and short. The give to Priest. Hops his way. First down and more. 25, 20. And spun around, out of a tackle, 15, and dragged down at the 13-yard line. Good, solid, strong run from the junior from Roanoke, Virginia.
And Dwayne Priest, both of his long runs today of 10-plus yards have been of the cutback nature. At the point of attack, there was penetration by Ball State. He's able to sidestep the first tackler and then bring it back against the flow of the defense and pick up a nice gain and showing some escapability down the field. He's able to break a tackle, pick up an extra 5 yards for a nice 18-yard run.
So now it's 1st and 10 from the 13. 2 wide receivers to the left, including DeAnthony White, who's in the slot. Gillette out of the shotgun. Corey Welch is to his left. He'll give it to Welch. Right side, has some room, makes a nice move, cuts inside the 10, and is dropped at about the 6-yard line. Corey Welch's 22nd carry on the year.
Well, Eastern showing the ability to get to the edge in this drive. They were trying to run
speed
between the tackles, not have much success early on. Now they ran the jet sweep to DeAnthony White, and then a little bit of a underneath handoff in the outside zone to the right. And Corey Welch, a nice job of kind of feeling his way, picking the hole, and picking up 7 to 8 yards.
It always helps when the plays work, but it sure looks like Ken Karcher is more comfortable calling plays here today than he was last week. Again, double tight end set. Priest alone setback. Gillette under center and gives it to Priest. Darts inside and gets close to the goal line, and they're going to call him in. Touchdown, Dwayne Priest. That was a delayed call. Eastern Michigan gets one through the air, and this time they score on the ground. Priest's 4th touchdown run of the year, and it's now 13-6 EMU.
There was like 3 guys in the porta-john, and Dwayne Priest was able to wiggle his way out and get into the end zone that time. I tell you, he made some people miss in a very tight quarter.
Yeah, he sure did.
Joe Carruthers to attempt the point out.
They're going to take a look at this one too, aren't they? Yeah.
Nothing's easy when you're in the green.
Nope. I understand this one probably more than I understand the other one. I thought the other one was a little bit clearer, but hopefully we get the same result. Nemo's down there on the sideline. What'd you think, Nemo? Did you get the sense that he was in, or was his knee down?
Now, tough to say, and I usually try to read the reaction of the players on the sideline, and I would say right now it's about a 50-50 call.
Oh,
but
no, he's down.
The coaching staff very happy with the way the wide receivers have helped block as well, and a couple of these plays going to the outside. Guys like Ja'Cory Stone and Nick Olds really helping to spring Priest and move him forward.
Well, they better get their short yardage in, because that ball's going to be marked almost back on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
We get a view up here. His knee is down right. Now,
Yeah.
it should
So
be
it's his elbow.
Yeah, it should be almost on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I mean that's surprising that they missed that call. It's even more surprising that they're taking this long to review it, because it's pretty obvious.
But it will be a 1st and goal.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a positive. I mean, at least they're moving forward. But that's kind of why I delayed on my call. I really didn't think there was any chance that he had scored on that play. But I get the sense that sometimes certain officials just want to be able to raise their hands and say, "Hey,
and
there's a
the
touchdown
guy that
there,
raised
buddy."
his hand, the side judge, when you see the replay, the white jerseys were blocking his view, and I think he went more on the reaction of the players of Eastern.
Well, then you can't make the call.
No.
I mean, if you don't see it, you can't make the call. It's exactly what Rob Rubik just said. They did get the first down, but they will mark him at the 1 yard line.
That's not the 1 foot or the 1 inch. That's the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
That's a
blatant
you're right. I'm
miss.
surprised they missed that one.
A little bit. Wind at Eastern Michigan's back, but the rain is starting to come down a little heavier now.
That's when these turf fields, though.
Yeah.
Compared to the ground, I was at a high school game last night when it started pouring, and it was like a pigsty for the rest of after the first quarter. The whole middle of the field was mud.
Alex Gillette wants to call a timeout.
Now, just had 2 minutes of the
yeah,
review.
Yeah. Well, this was an issue last week. The issue last week was
Two timeouts.
Two timeouts, and ended
they
up
punted
punting.
on the plus side of the 50.
And one of those went into the end zone for a touchback. Now you just had 2 minutes during a review to get your play set, to get everyything situated.
Yeah, you can't
and you end
assume-
up burning a timeout.
Yeah, you cannot assume that it's going to be ruled a touchdown. You have to assume not, because now if it's a touchdown, then it doesn't matter. All you're planning for that 2 minutes, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if you use that time to plan that it wasn't a touchdown, then you have your play, you have your offense ready to go in there, and you don't have to burn a timeout. But, we talked last week about the learning curve of Ron English. This is a head coaching job for him, is something new, and what a lot of head coaches struggle with who've been coordinators or position coaches is managing the game.
Yeah.
They've never had to manage the game.
It might
as far
be,
as
it might
the
be one of
clock.
the more difficult things to
It is.
adjust to.
People, you know this story, but when I played with the Lions and Darryl Rogers took over, he was clueless as far as managing the game.
Well,
I
he was
remember
clueless
Chuck
in a lot
Long
of
Chuck Long and I would stand by him when the defense was on the field and say, "Coach, now if we stop him here, you probably want to use a timeout." And he'd look at the clock, and he goes, "Yeah, maybe we should." And he'd go tell Bob Baker, the coordinator, "Bob, maybe we should take a timeout," or the D coordinator. And yeah, it's just something that, as a head coach, and you delegate everything else, you start watching the game, and sometimes you forget you have to also manage the game.
Couple tight ends in there now. Alex Gillette under center. Dwayne Priest alone setback. The give to Priest, left side, and he is short. Spun around at the 1-yard line. Theon Dixon, the freshman, came in from his outside linebacker position to trip him up.
I'd put Kyle McMahon in. You got first and goal,
or
and just
Terrence
sneak
Blevins.
it, or just sneak it 3 times. You got to be able to get some movement. Eric Davis is supposedly your best offensive lineman. I mean, you just follow him, and you got big Andy Fretz in there, and Gotham just get on their backs and sneak it.
2nd down and goal from the 1. Gillette under center with a hard count. Ball State stays. Now the give to Priest. He's hit as soon as he gets it, and he's bent backwards.
This is deja vu all over again, as
Renee
the great
Perry.
Yogi Berra once said. This looks just like Kent State. I mean, you're going backwards again.
Well, again, I mean, look, Dwayne Priest, we've talked about. Dwayne Priest has been a really good back for this club. But you've got 1 yard to get. You've got a guy who's 6'1", 2 1/4. I mean, he outweighs every starting linebacker on Ball State's team. Every starter and 2 deep linebacker on their club, and back-to-back plays made by Ball State linebackers there. And he's sitting on your bench.
This becomes such a huge play now.
3rd down and goal from the 2. 2 wide receivers to left. Gillette out of the gun. Inside fake. Option right. Not going to get it. Spun around.
Unbelievable.
Robert Edens and Alex Knipp made the tackle. That's
You don't want to get negative up here when you start watching this, but 2 weeks in a row, the same situation. You think you have a touchdown or you're close, and you get first and goal on the 1 yard line. Last week they end up losing 5 yards. This week they lose 3 yards. And now you have to kick a field goal attempt. Nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing's worse than kicking a 20-yard field goal, is it? I mean, they mark it at the 10-yard line. You just feel like you should be going for it. 4th down here. Yeah, they ended up losing 3 yards. You're right, partner. The boot is up, and the boot is through. 10-6, Eagles in front. 10:59 left in the opening half. Back with more from Ypsilanti after this. This is EMU football. Rob Rubik, I'm Matt Shepard. 10-6, Eagles in front. They had to settle for a field goal, but they get points, and they're up by 4.
Yeah, but you know what's really deflating that, Matt, is you just put points on the board, and the Ball State side's fired up.
Yeah,
because
that's a great
they
point.
defensively they just won. They just won 4. They just beat you out of 4 points. They thought you had a touchdown. Now you have to go first and goal on the 1. You end up only getting a field goal. They just took 4 points away from you with a nice. We're on the Eastern a little bit, but also. Let's give Ball State some credit. That front 7 just opened up a can on Eastern's front people. They just physically manhandled them up front.
Toriel Gibson and Charlie Todd will take Joe Carithers' kick. Last time Carithers kicked off, it went out of bounds. This one is twisting toward Gibson at the 10, 15, at the numbers 20, 25, and then belted at the 25-yard line. Good downfield tackle on the special teams by Matt Boyd. Freshman from Southfield Lathrop.
Nice job on coverage, only a 15-yard return. After not a short kick, only to the 11, so good job by the coverage team of the Eagles. Nemo, you got something for us.
Yeah, the emphasis on the Eastern Michigan sideline is with the running backs. Coach Tyrone Wheatley really working Dwayne Priest on which gap he chose, especially on that 2nd down play. Didn't look from here like he had much of a gap to go through, but the coach still expects him to make something out of nothing.
Tanner Justice out of the gun. Slings
That's a
it left
fumble.
side,
That's a fumble.
and it's incomplete.
Oh, that's close.
Intended for McQuail Lewis.
That's a little flat pass.
He's belted by Andre Hatchett. Hatchett's holding his left arm Well, is that, no, I don't think that's not Hatchett. That is Jerron Gillespie, and he's kind of slumped over a little bit with that left arm. It looked like he had a stinger there, but he's going to shake it off and stay in there.
Let's see. No, that was forward. I got to look at the replay. He threw about 1 yard. I knew it was close, but it was correct call.
2nd and 10 from the 26, ball at the near side hash, moving left to right for Ball State. It's 10-6 Eastern Michigan. Lewis, left side, reverses direction, and he's smothered from behind. Gillespie got him again. Good thing he stayed in there. Sure didn't show any ill effects of any stinger on that play as he stung Lewis behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, the play was, it was the outside zone going to the left. McQuail Lewis took it. He took about 5 steps and realized great penetration by the green shirts. Then he stopped and came back to the right, but Gillespie showing good speed, just kind of piggybacked him from the backside and brought him down for a loss, and the Eagles defense doing a nice job here. Now, can they get off on 3rd down? Can they get off the field?
10-10 left to go in the opening half. 3rd and 15. They set up the screen, and it's incomplete because Eastern Michigan sniffed it out. Brad Orman able to get off his block and cover McQuail Lewis, forcing Tanner Justice to throw it away.
That's a great call, Matt. Orman that time, as he saw it, he actually delivered a blow to Lewis, which rocked him. He was stumbling as the ball was being delivered, and there's no pass interference behind the line of scrimmage. So you're allowed to hit those backs when they're waiting to catch the ball.
Scott Cavanda on for the punt, and Ja'Cory Stone stands right around his own 40-yard line.
Ja'Cory Stone for the Eagles.
The long snapper is Cody Muhlenkamp. It's a line drive kick. Stone can return it. He'll take it on the run. Oh, and he's drilled at the 40-yard line right away.
Tell you, that's a great catch. It's a little risky.
Yep.
But if he doesn't catch that, they're going to get it on the 41, 42-yard line. That's going to go down to about the 20. So I think Ja'Cory Stone took a little bit of a risk there, but he probably saved 20, 25 yards worth of field position.
Rubes, we've seen from really good open field special teams tackle, too. Armand Dehaney with a nice tackle there. Just a freshman, but he got it done. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is EMU football. Eagles up 10-6 on Ball State here at Rynearson Stadium. Welcome back. Alex Gillette under center. Dwayne Priest the lone setback. A 5-step drop. Gillette going deep. And it is caught inside the 15-yard line. Hauled in by Tyrone Burke. What great concentration, because the coverage downfield wasn't that bad, but it slid right through the hands of Jason Pinkston, and it was hauled in by Burke.
Yeah, I thought Pinkston was going to be flagged for interference. He kind of ran up as Burke started to slow down. The ball was underthrown just a little bit by Gillette. As Burke was slowing down to alter his position, Pinkston kind of ran into him, Matt, but there was no flag, so it's a good thing that Burke came up with the catch. Big play for the Eagles. That's why they need those chunk plays.
It's the longest pitch and catch of the year through the air for Eastern Michigan. A plus 47 from Gillette to Burke. 1st and 10 from the 12 for Eastern Michigan. Corey Welch on the ground, up the middle, slithers through a tackle to the 5, touchdown, Corey Welch! That's legit right there, 2nd of his career.
Well, that's a play we haven't seen the Eagles run. That's the old counter tray. Welch, the lone back. He gets the ball going to his right. The lineman on the right side pulled to the left. He stops, then he follows the lineman through the hole and does a nice job of weaving his way, making the linebacker miss the first one. I always say if you make that first guy miss, you got a lot of chance of being successful. And that time he was. No review on that one. As they blow their whistle, I thought they were going to review. They're just resetting the play clock, rather.
They have done just that.
As the sun comes out.
That leaves some Eagles fans beaming right now. This to take an 11-point lead here at home with 9:23 remaining in the half. The kick is up and the kick is through. And Eastern Michigan goes 59 yards in just a couple of plays in under a minute.
It's got to be their biggest lead of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have they led this year? I'm trying
Not
to think
before
back.
today, guys.
Not before today, nope. This is the first time they have led all season long. The first time they led all season long was 7-0 in the first quarter. But it's good to hold on to that lead, and it's good to get a lot of different things going for you, because now suddenly you have an aerial attack. You had it on the first drive. You had it on this drive. You got some good blocking up front, Everybody's contributed. Defense has forced a turnover. Special teams was good on the opening drive. I mean, there's a lot of positives building in a game like this.
And you're possessing the football. You know, right now you have 30 offensive plays to only 15 for the Cardinals, so you've doubled up there, and you keep that offense on the side. Ball State's been able to run the ball pretty effectively, 89 yards rushing, but they only have 82 total yards in the passing game. Tanner Justice,
Terrible.
1 for 4 for -7 yards. I really thought he was going to be the key to the game.
Yes, you did.
Whether it was going to be good or bad.
Yep.
And right now it's more of the bad for Tanner Justice, and I think that's one of the reasons the Eagles are on top. We know McQuail Lewis is going to be difficult to handle. You're going to have to try to
But
contain.
they've done a good job on
Pretty
him.
he had the one long run.
Well, Corey Sykes
hurt him.
has that one long run, too.
McQuail Lewis, 4 carries for 33 yards, but that one run was, and it was on a third down. It had to be about a 30-yard run.
Yeah, it was a 31-yard sprint, yep. 9:23 to go in the opening half. Eastern up 17-6 and kicking it deep to the Cardinals. Short kick fielded by Toriel Gibson at the 15, 20,
Whoa.
25. Herb Waits with a tackle at the 31-yard line. Missed him originally, kept his feet going, turned, and then wrapped him up again. It is interesting. You can have the best running game going, but eventually, if you're not putting points on the board and you're down, you're going to have to throw it eventually, aren't you? So
Yeah,
Ball State's really hurt.
Right,
in that
they're not.
regard.
You know, they're not at that point yet. I wouldn't say Matt.
No,
So 9
no.
minutes in the first half. It's
No.
only a 17-6 game, so they can truly stay with their game plan, and that's giving the ball to number 33 in many different ways, and not put much pressure on their quarterback. If the Eagles somehow could, get another stop here and put 7 more, then it's going to start changing the complexity a little bit, and they're going to have to call on their 5th-year senior quarterback to make some plays.
Justice play action. Rolls to the near side. Pressure comes. He unloads. And coming back to the quarterback was Gibson, but it was incomplete.
Pass intended for Gibson, incomplete.
Good pressure by Brandon Downs.
Justice looked for a little bit of a late hit on Brandon Downs. I thought it was pretty good. He was running him down quickly as Justice delivered the ball. Brandon put a lick on him, and that's what you want to do. Make them pay every time they drop back, every time they roll out, hit that quarterback, get inside his head a little bit, put the fear in him.
Downs, a midseason second All-MAC selection. Lone setback is McQuail Lewis. Lewis last year set a single season record with 22 touchdowns and over 130 points. He gets the call left side and picks up about 4 to bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Cardinals.
Lewis, number 33 on the carry. Third and 5.
So now Tanner Justice works out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the left. Lewis, the lone setback, shaded just to the right of Justice. 1 wide receiver to the right. Justice takes the snap. Leonard got him again. His arm was going forward, so it's an incomplete pass. But Ryan Leonard is now making a dib for maybe MAC West Defensive Player of the Week with the amount of times he's gotten to the quarterback today.
Man, that's a great job by Leonard, splitting the guard center gap, really being double teamed. When you're a D tackle in that situation, the center's uncovered. He's going to help one way with the guard, and he was still able to split it and get penetration. So nice job, Ryan Leonard, really being a big-time player today.
Got that mean streak going, and it's working well. Stone back between the 20 and 25 to field this punt. Pressure comes, and he fumbled it, and Eastern's got it. They got it at the 27-yard line.
Well, they've been close, Matt. They're really bringing a lot of pressure. They brought a lot of pressure up, and Ball State's in that kind of wall formation where they have 3 guys in front of the punter. And that time, the pressure, they just took those 3 guys and pushed them right in the lap of the punter. As he dropped the football, there were the green shirts everywhere.
Oh, we can see if Lorenzo Seabury's all right, because the in thing to do these days is for people to go up and jump into one another. And one of the coaches jumped into Herb Waits, and Seabury tried to join the party and went tumbling, toes overhead on the ground.
It was a seamless transition from celebration to laughter down here on the sideline. Seabury did a full 360.
I'm glad you saw
I wonder
it,
what you
too.
were laughing at. That was my call. My analysis
boy,
work there.
That was funny. Two wide receivers to the right. Alex Gillette under center, and Dwayne Priest the lone setback. Good play action. Gillette rolls, stops, starts again. Pressure comes. He throws on the run before Robert Edens can sack him, and our referee gets rolled over too. Yeah. Well, he took a tumble. He was backpedaling and just fell.
The Eagles coming out trying to loosen up a little bit. Ball State really packing the box. They have 7 and their safeties are up tight. We saw the last time they were able to get down the field to Tyrone Burke on a long play, and that's because the safeties are about 7 yards off the field, off the line of scrimmage on the hashes, which is just inviting you to try to throw the ball down the field. But that time, too much pressure by the Ball State's front four. Not enable Gillette to make a play.
You know, you really want to take advantage of the field position you have here. Gillette inside fake, keeps it left side, 20, breaks a tackle, 15, stops, and then backpedals out of bounds after getting the first down.
He kind of stopped on the 13. He's like, anyone want to tackle me here? And you can understand, Ball State comes in this game 0-7. You've seen him do some good things today, but you've also seen him self-destruct. And that's why teams are 0-7. Like Eastern, they've been able to put the ball on, move the ball times this year, but then the penalties, the drop balls, they self-destruct. We've seen that with Ball State a little bit here so far in the first half.
This Ball State defense surrenders 30.5 points per game. 17-6 Eastern, under 8 minutes to go in the half. Gillette under center and a 1st and 10 from the Ball State 14. Gillette, 3-step drop, fires right side, caught by Thayer. And he gets to the 10-yard line.
Nice 4-yard gain on first down. Ben Thayer, after making the catch, was able to make a cut up the field, get underneath the tackle of Travis Freeman, the freshman linebacker out of Cleveland, Ohio. Did a nice job of making him miss, Matt, and then taking it up the field for a 4-yard gain. Positive gain on first down. And now it's a little different here. Your 3 points here looks pretty good. If you're an Eagle fan, 7 looks better, obviously, but you don't want to turn the ball over in this situation. Gillette, the young quarterback, has to realize, be smart.
2nd down and 6, right to left for the Eagles. Bar at the far side hash. The 10-yard line of Ball State. Play action, rolls, near side, throws on the run, too high and incomplete. He had a man open, John Bonner. Really good job to elude the pressure coming from Sean Baker from the safety position on a blitz, but unfortunately Gillette just couldn't connect with his tight end.
Yeah, and they're bringing some of the smaller people here. Look for him to spread the field. I like that direct snap draw to Gillette they ran to get him down here inside the plus 20. Look for maybe spread him out and use that play again. They need 6 yards for a first down.
Nick Old split wide to the right. D'Anthony White and Stone to the left. White in the slot. Corey Welch to the right of Alex Gillette out of the shotgun on a 3rd down and 6 from the 10. They'll sling it out right side. Welch has it. Flag on the play. Sneaks inside the 9-yard line. Wrapped up there. But again, a flag on the play.
I don't know, Nemo, was there legal formation or was there possible defensive
Looks
offside?
like the penalty against Eastern Michigan.
They'll decline it, obviously.
You called it, partner. So Eastern Michigan will attempt a field goal here. Their 2nd of the day.
Once again, Ball State dodges a bullet. You know, Eastern had first goal on the 1, had to settle for 3. They get the fumbled snap by the punter, take over on the 30-yard line, and now they're going to have to settle for another field goal attempt.
Carruthers had his 3rd 2-field goal game of his 18-game career last week when he booted field goals of 25 and 30 yards. Already has 1 here today. This will be a 26-yard attempt. It is up, and it is good. And Joe Carruthers comes through, and Eastern Michigan more points. They now bump the lead to 14. It's 20-6 Eastern Michigan with 6:37 to go in the opening half. This is EMU football. Stadium. Eastern Michigan in front of the Cardinals from Ball State 20-6. These two teams combined 0 for 13 coming into this one. But Ball State had won their last 4 in the series with EMU. And we're 13-12 here in Ypsilanti. Eagles trying to turn that tide a little bit. They're up by 14 with 6:37 left to go in the opening half. They just finished off a 6-play, 19-yard drive in $144 for the second time. The heavy gusts of wind here in Ypsilanti blow the football off the tee. Mark Mitchell will be forced to come in and hold it down.
You look at the stats here. Ball State had 2 plays for 82 yards, 2 long runs.
Yep.
In the other 17 plays they've run, they've got -2 yards.
That's a problem.
Or -4 yards.
That is a problem for Stan Parrish. First full season as the 15th ever head coach at Ball State. 5th year with the program, though. Was a head coach at Wabash and Marshall and Kansas State as well. Gibson on the run from the 15. Near side 20, outside the numbers, and he slips down at the 25-yard line. Herb Waits, the first man to greet him.
Herb Waits, number 51, the linebacker.
Neil Howie also in on that tackle.
The linebacker out of Saginaw, Swan Valley, just tremendous speed, undersized. You know, he's up to 195 pounds and he's gaining about 5 pounds a year, but just great speed and a nice nose for the football.
And the right attitude to play special
he's
teams.
happy. He's a happy camper.
He's like you at the breakfast table with a stack of pancakes and some eggs off to the side. Ball State needs some points, and they need it in a hurry. I formation behind Tanner Justice. Lewis found a seam. Boy, it looked like he went the wrong way, partner. He had an opening to the near side. He still picked up about 7 or 8. And the first time that they have used Andrew Puthoff as the fullback. So they got a bit of a jumbo package in there. They usually don't use a fullback, but Puthoff, the redshirt sophomore, who's
listed as a
6'3",
defensive end.
257, yeah.
He's thick.
Second down and 2 for Ball State. Left to right they come. They give to Lewis again. Found an opening again to the 40 and dragged down at the 42-yard line.
Lewis on the carry. Gillespie, number 30, with the tackle.
Gillespie in on yet another tackle.
First and 10 for
This game's moving right along here. Only 5:45 and counting in the first half.
their own 43-yard line.
Easter doing a good job. Now, you know McQuail Lewis is going to get some yards.
Yeah.
But right now, you pretty much you can't afford to get one of those long runs again. They're trying to take the pressure. Now, they're going into Wildcat
Yep,
with
Lewis.
McQuail Lewis as the quarterback.
That's right.
I got to believe he's going to keep.
Tanner Justice split wide to the left. Lewis will keep it up the gut. Did a nice job just to get past the 45 to the 46. That was a good run right there, even though it was only worth about 4 yards because he made about 3 Eagles miss.
Yeah, he did. That's kind of a la Barry Sanders. Some of the best looking runs he ever made were for 1 or 2 yards, making 2-3 people miss. And they use Sykes that time. Corey Sykes, the sophomore halfback, goes in motion on the fake jet out of the Wildcat. And you got to respect that because we saw what he could do earlier on with his type of speed getting to the edge. So they're staying with us. They're really taking Tanner Justice right out of the equation here. Staying with the Wildcat. Justice split wide to the right, though.
Offset eye. Man comes in motion, and this time they give it to him. He gets past the 50 to the 49. Corey Sykes has shown that type of sprint. The Stan Parrish is starting to use his personnel a little differently, and it's paying off for him.
Well, I don't think he feels he's getting much production from his 5th-year quarterback and Tanner Justice, so he's trying to mix things up here this series. First 2 plays he comes out here or after the first down and runs the Wildcat, and able to get 8 yards. Now I think Justice will be
served
in the shot.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Both defensive coordinators have coached on the other team's staffs. Eric Lewis, the defensive coordinator for Eastern, and they've taken a timeout, by the way, was a former defensive backs coach at Ball State. Doug Graber, the defensive coordinator for Ball State in his first year, was an assistant on the EMU staff back in the 1972 through 75 campaigns.
Wow. He's been around.
Oh, yeah, he's been around a long time. Brian Nemirovsky.
A lot of people might think there's another coaching connection. Of course, Ron English and Stan Parrish were both coordinators
Michigan, yeah.
under Lloyd Carr at Michigan. I asked Coach if kind of assumed that he'd run across Coach Parrish a couple times. He said, well, I've met him twice, and one of them was on the field before today's game. So they have not crossed paths much. Stan Parrish left Michigan 2 years before Ron English arrived, and other than running in the same broad circle, not much of a connection there.
Parrish helped Michigan win that 1997 national title, and then 5 years later, in 2002, was part of John Gruden's Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers staff. So 2 championship rings decorate his hands. 3rd down and 1. Lewis stops, gets going up the middle.
Touchdown.
Look out, he's free. 35-30, 25-20, 15-10, 5. Touchdown, McQuail Lewis. His 29th career touchdown, 1 away from being the number 3 all-time touchdown rushing leader in Ball State history.
Well, Eastern got caught. That's what happens. You bring people up in a 3rd down and short, and Nemo, I think, could have run that one, and he made one little stop cut, and he went through a hole about 5 feet wide, and they just kind of waddled all the way down for a nice touchdown run from McQuail Lewis.
Oh, you got a sense that was coming, didn't you? The way they were running him in that series, much more effective. Steven shot on for the extra point. Tanner Justice, the holder. And the kick is up and through. And just like that, Ball State's within a score again. It's 20-13 Eagles after the McQuail Lewis touchdown sprint. 5 plays, 74 yards in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And Lewis, for the 3rd time this year, the 15th time in his Ball State career, he is over 100 yards, 9 carries, 107 yards. He has now tied with Bernie Parmalee for number 2 all-time in 100-yard games in a career. Bernie Parmalee was a pretty good running back for the Ball State Cardinals.
And that just shows you, backs like McQuail Lewis, you think you're doing a pretty good job on him. 7 carries, he has about 3 yards.
Yeah.
But in 2 carries, he has over 100 yards. So, around close to 90 yards or whatever it is. But it's just a good job of him being patient. It's those type of runners as an offense coordinator you think, okay, we're all right. Just keep giving the ball. Pretty soon something's going to pop. And you're defensing him, and you're thinking, geez, we're doing a good job stopping him. All of a sudden you look like he's got 109 yards. Well, we've stopped him almost every carry. Well, no, you haven't. He's had a couple where he's gotten away on you, and he's made you pay. I think he'll be the first to tell you that he's going to thank his offensive line on that last one.
Oh.
He's had some nice runs here today, but that one was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, he had some big lanes, don't you think?
Yeah, and he just hit it and took off. Those little 5'6" stubby legs were going pretty quickly.
4:06 remaining in the half. Eastern 20, Ball State 13. Johnny Sears and Corey Welch are deep to receive the kickoff. An end-over-end short kick. Fielded by Sears on the run of the 15 to the 20, right side 25, to the outside 30, 35, 40, and dragged out of bounds on that far side.
Johnny Sears, number 8, takes the kickoff.
So Eastern Michigan, thanks to Johnny Sears, in good field position again.
Let's see the
Kilborn on the tackle.
Well, let's see if the offense can bail the defense out a little bit here, Matt. Put a drive together. You still have 4 minutes remaining in the half. You have 1 timeout left. Plenty of time to get down the field here offensively, but you got to come out with some good first down plays. Kyle McMahon into the game now. Gillette on the sideline. May indicate they may try to throw the ball a little more this series.
Old split wide to the right. 3 receivers to the left. All 3 of them tight ends. And up the belly goes Dwayne Priest. Past the 45 to the 46. Ball State thought they had him 3 yards back. Instead, he goes forward.
He runs like an angry little elf at times, doesn't he? He got hit about 3 yards. He just keeps his arms and legs, everything's flailing, and he doesn't stop. He epitomizes how they tell running backs to keep your legs moving. He just constantly keeps his feet chopping. And if you lose leverage on the tackle at all, he's going to break out of it.
2 wide receivers to the left now for Eastern on a 2nd down and 4. They have 1 timeout remaining and lead by 7. Moving right to left, ball between the hashes. McMahon, 3-step drop, fires a bullet right side to John Bonner, who took it out of bounds, battling Charlie Todd on the far side. Todd, his first year at Ball State after going to Nassau Community College and graduating there.
Well, you're going to put yourself in a situation now, Matt, that the Eagles have struggled at. 3rd down and short.
Yep.
3rd and 2. You know, you don't have the type of powerful running game where you think we can just line up and run it and pick up 2. So it almost forces you into a passing situation. But as you've stated before, a lot of times, Matt, I like the rollout here. I like to get Kyle McMahon. The bad part is he'll be rolling to his left, to the wide side of the field.
Third down and 2. Eastern 4 of 9 on third downs. Inside give. Welch, nothing there. I mean, absolutely nothing. He lost a yard. Adam Morris, the sophomore defensive tackle, makes his 7th tackle on the year.
And that's why I don't consider Eastern a running football team. Matt, running football teams can run the football when you know they're going to run the football. Eastern has to rely on a little bit of surprise running the football in order to be effective running it. That time when Ball State Fields are going to, they just really manhandle them. They lose a yard, as we saw on the goal line. Eastern just not physical enough up front to get any type of movement.
Johnson back to punt.
Zach Johnson will punt it deep.
Let the play clock run down a little more here.
They snap it with 6. They all come, and Johnson barely got it away. Takes an Eastern Michigan bounce and rolls inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Pretty good punt, 39-yard punt. But more importantly, no return. And now Ball State can run their 2-minute drill with 3 timeouts.
Well, if you're Eastern right now, I know Ball State's going to come out in their 2-minute drills, you said, Matt, but my priority as a defense is stopping the run. Look for that little sprint rollout draw. Look for a screen.
In other words, make them beat you.
Yeah, I don't think they have the confidence into the wind to have Tanner Justice just drop back in the pocket and start slinging it around in a 2-minute drill. So defensively, if I'm Eric Lewis, I'm telling my guys, they're going to run the ball here. You have to play run first with the front 7. Secondary, obviously, you always play pass first, but front 7, you got to look for them to run.
Stick around at the break because Nick Hersey has the out-of-town scoreboard. Corey Sykes, the lone tailback. Justice sprints, gives it to inside to him. He's got that draw past the 20 to the 21-22-yard line.
Am I stating the obvious? I mean, to us up here, man, it's obvious, but to Eastern right now,
I mean, it's thinking football.
You got a quarterback in the first half that's 1 for 6, minus 7 yards. Coming into this season, he had 4 pass attempts in his career. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. I mean,
now under center on a 2nd down and 2. On the ground again. Sykes up the gut again. 30 and first down. Hit by Marty Cardwell. You know, it's not like Eastern isn't ready for it that time. Fact is, they're just getting beat.
They're getting handled up front of that offensive line. Ball State now doing the job.
I'm really surprised that Ball State is taking as much time as they are to get their plays in. I mean, there's no sense of urgency, and they have 1:10 left, and they still have 3 timeouts.
Well, they know they're going to get the ball to start the second half.
Well, still, but I mean, but why try even to get? Now they're going to take a timeout. I mean, they just wasted 18 seconds. Wow, the time management blows my mind, or the lack thereof.
Yeah.
Under a minute to go in the opening half. Eastern leads by 7. We'll conclude the first half after this. You're listening to EMU Football. First and 10, Tanner Justice goes back to throw, lofts it right side. Oh, what a grab. Oh, now they're going to say it's juggled by Jeremy Hill. Boy, Hill uses that big frame of his, 6'2", 174. Had it over Johnny Sears for a moment, but couldn't bring it down.
Johnny Sears was playing the pick, too. I love his ball skills. When the ball is in the air, Johnny Sears plays the football. He went up. He actually had it in his hands. Hill kind of pulls it out of his hands, but he bobbles it. They probably review this inside a minute here. But he kind of bobbles it. When he catches it, he lands with his back out of bounds. So I think that's why they call it incomplete.
Well, you got to have strong hands to do that, don't you? Either way.
Let's watch the guy back here. If you see if he starts waving his arms.
Second down and 10 now for Ball State. Left to right. Still 2 timeouts at their disposal, and they trail by 7. Lewis up the middle. Marty Cardwell grabbed him from behind and held on for maybe a 1-yard loss.
And I think that's the content. That was the play right there was going to make or break this drive. They're going to have 3rd down and 9. They're just let the clock run down. If I'm Eastern, I allow it to happen.
Sure you do. I mean, you got 30 seconds left. I'm a little surprised at Stan Parrish. When you saw the first 2-3 plays have success, of course you can't throw the ball, but you had the first couple of plays with success. I'm surprised they didn't have more of a sense of urgency. They're going to not even use those 2 timeouts. They're going to go into the locker room with both of them. 10 seconds to go. A draw. Lewis. Nothing there. Good job by EMU up front. Well, I'll be interested to hear what Ron English has to say. Brian Nemorowski will catch up to him. It's 20-13. Eagles in front, leading by 7. They did a lot of good things in that opening half. Special teams wise, forced some turnovers, threw the ball, ran the ball well. Brian Nemorowski has Ron English. Nemo?
All right, thanks, Matt. Coach, 4 trips to the red zone, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. How do you evaluate your offense's efficiency there?
I wasn't happy. When you're on the 1-yard line, you have to score, and enough of that. So I'm not happy.
And defensively, 3 big runs against you, negated an otherwise good half. What'd you see on those big plays?
Well, you know, you got to stay in your fit. 33 is hard to see. He's 5'4", you can't see him, and so he bounces around in there, and then if you don't fit your gap, he's out, and that's what happened.
Final question, how do you address your team's ability to play with the lead now, a new position at halftime?
What they'll do with the lead, but I know this. We just want to play hard, have fun, and finish.
All right, thanks, Coach. Guys, back up to you.
Play hard, have fun, finish. Sounds like a winning remedy to me. Right now they're winning 20-13. Stick around, because Nick Hersey is right around the corner for an update on the out-of-town scoreboard. And then a little bit later on, Rob and I will be talking to Doug Dowdy, the Associate Athletic Director and Chief of Staff here at Eastern Michigan, to talk about some of the things that are taking place. This is EMU football. In the red zone, even though there are 2 field goals, they're getting points when they're getting deep into the opponent's territory.
Yeah, they're finishing drives with points. As you said, they're 100% as far as scoring in red zone. And in the past, the Eagles have come away with some field goal attempts that maybe they don't even, get. So, yeah, you got to be pleased with that area. But, man, when you got first and goal on the 1 yard line, you got to be able to get 7 out of it. And that's at 4 points we talked about. And a 24-13 lead would look a lot better right now.
Now, Eastern Michigan took the first lead of the season, and they scored their first touchdown in the opening quarter this year on a 3-yard pitching catch from Kyle McMahon to Ben Thayer at the 5:52 mark, capped off an 11-play, 45-yard drive. It was 7-0 Eagles. The very next offensive play for Ball State, Corey Sykes busted loose for a 51-yard sprint. Happened in 10 seconds. Longest rushing play of the year for the Cardinals. But the extra point was blocked by Ryan Leonard, 7-6 Eastern Michigan. Stayed that way till the second. Joe Carruthers connected on a 20-yard field goal to cap off a 9-play, 35-yard drive in under 4 minutes, and it was 10-6 EMU. Then Corey Welch from 12 yards out in 36 seconds on a 2-play drive. It was 17-6 EMU. Carruthers added a 26-yard field goal. That means he has now 2 field goal games in 4 times in his 19-game career. It was 20-6, and then McQuail Lewis capped off a 5-play, 74-yard drive in 2 minutes and 26 seconds with a 48-yard run. It's 20-13 Eastern Michigan. Lewis, 11 carries, 114 yards, but again, on one of those is 48 yards. Corey Sykes has 86 yards on the ground, but again, 51 of those on one play.
The big plays have hurt him.
Tanner Justice, 1 for 7, minus 7 yards passing. Eastern Michigan, led by Dwayne Priest on the ground, 13 carries, 54 yards. Kyle McMahon, 5 of 11 for 34 yards. Alex Gillette, 3 of 6 for 52 yards.
I think Ball State, they're going to have to get some type of production out of Tanner Justice. 1 for 7, minus 7 yards. Not all his fault. There's been some pressure as well, but he just doesn't look too comfortable in the pocket. But if they're going to win this game, I got to believe Eastern right now, if you're Eric Lewis in that defense, you got to say, we've got to stack it a little bit. We got to stop the running. We got to bring 7, 8 in the box. If we want to man up outside, you got Johnny Sears. You should be very comfortable. Just put him on their best receiver and just play some man outside and sneak your safety up for support and take McQuail Lewis out of the game. If you can do that defensively, I like your chance of winning.
Ball State will get the ball first to start the third. We'll have it for you after this. This is EMU football. Stadium alongside Rob Rubik, Brian Nemirovsky. My name is Matt Shepard. Jeff Fulton is our executive producer. John Patelka, our network engineer. Nick Hersey, our halftime host, and Byron Marshall, our engineer in WCHB. Glad to have you along on this Saturday afternoon. Both these teams looking for their first wins of the year. Joe Carruthers will kick it deep to start this third quarter. Gibson backpedals into the end zone, catches it above his head and takes a knee. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 for Ball State.
I was kind of shaking my head when you said Joe Carruthers will kick it deep. His other 3 kicks or 4 kicks have gone about the 12, 13-yard line. That one, he did kick deep.
Yeah, really big. And considering there wasn't a lot of wind at his back, that's an impressive boot right there. One of the best, if not the best, of the season for him. Ball State has won 12 of their last 15 Mid-American Conference games overall. Even though they're
Thank you, Nate Davis.
Even though they're 0-3 in the MAC this year. They start with their jumbo package behind Tanner Justice because Andrew Puthoff is the up back, blocking the way for McHale Lewis, who who sprints his way to the 25-yard line. That's a good block by that defensive end turned fullback for the day.
And Brandon Slater's got to do a little bit better job. I was watching him inside from the D tackle. He crossed the face of the center, but he allowed the center to push him all the way down to the left side, and it created a natural cutback lane from Quayle Lewis, who took full advantage of it.
You know, let's try to put ourselves on the far sideline for a moment. If you're Ball State, realizing you haven't been able to throw the football at all,
but you've run
two
it
big
pretty effectively.
Yeah, and you're on down 7.
Right. And you also, turned the ball over on a bad punt and another fumble to the quarterback.
And out of the Wildcat, Lewis up the middle. Gets the first down. Andre Hatchett knocked him down at the 32-yard line.
I think the Eagles are struggling with their gap integrity. In other words, your 4 down linemen all have to protect their gap. If they're playing 2-gap technique, they're taking their man, they got a gap on each side of the guy they're on. There's just some big holes opening up. And I know that Wildcat puts some pressure on your front, but you have to do a better job of staying solid.
Javon Reese, Brandon Slater, Ryan Leonard, and Brandon Downs make up that front 4 for EMU. 1st and 10 from the 32. Tanner Justice out of the shotgun, rolls to his left. Looking downfield, pressure comes, dumps it underneath and incomplete. Tried to go across the middle, intended for Briggs Orsman, his leading receiver at 42 catches this year.
If you're Ball State faithful, every time Tanner Justice rolls out, you're holding your breath because he just is not a rollout, not a mobile quarterback. You look at the size on him. He stands 6'3", 205 pounds, fairly slight of build. He just looks kind of awkward, and they roll him to his left. And he's thrown back across his body a little bit, and he's lucky that wasn't picked up.
He completes 44% of his passes. He's split wide to the left now. Out of the Wildcat again, or the shotgun, is McQuail Lewis in motion to Sykes. He gives it to him left side, cuts it up, look out, 40, and dragged down by Andre Hatchett. Almost a touchdown-saving tackle.
And there's some green shirts being blocked by white shirts, not getting off the blocks at all. I mean,
that speed by Sykes is impressive.
I mean, you're defending 2 plays. When they come on that Wildcat, defensively, you have 2 plays to defend. You have the keep after the fake on the jet by McQuail Lewis, or the give. That's it. That's all they run. That's probably all they will run out of this.
Now Justice again under center. 2 wide receivers to the right. Lewis the lone setback, and the give to him. Started left, spins around, stops, and then is hovered over after a loss of 2. Could have been a lot worse. Justice is a guy who graduated last May with a degree in entrepreneurship. Right now he's working on his business masters.
Entrepreneurship. I thought that's something you just did. Become an entrepreneur. I didn't know they actually had a degree in that.
They've got a degree in a lot of things, different since you and I went to college.
Jeff Fulton was an entrepreneur. Started his golf course, made millions when he sold.
Still does, yeah. Still makes a lot of money. Picked off! Chris May with an interception. 45-40, right sideline. Oh, and he went right at Tanner Justice. Didn't try to elude the quarterback at all. Went right into his grill and knocked him down at the 29-yard line of Ball State.
Well, Chris May ran in the darkness. I always say run the daylight. That time he ran in the darkness. He ran right into the quarterback, who was just getting up off the ground after being hit after the interception. He got up, and Chris May ran right into him. But still, good play. And we said, once again, they rolled him to his left, Matt. I don't understand that.
I don't get it either.
He's awkward as it is. They rolled him to the left. He tried to throw back across his body again, and the ball got away into the wind. As effectively as they're running the ball. I mean, thank you very much, Stan Parrish.
Chris May is a playmaker. That's his 4th interception on the year. He's got 4 of Eastern's 6 picks on the season.
Look at the safeties, how tight they are. Boy, they got a big cushion out here.
Gillette gives to Dwayne Priest. Rambles his way between the tackles down to the 25, 24-yard line as Ben Thayer and Brandon Crawford mix it up a little bit. Crawford, big fella, 6'3", 260, the 5th-year senior. But as we talked about it before, he's 33 years old.
15-year senior.
All-MAC 2nd team last year, All-MAC 3rd team in 07.
2nd down and 5.
Well, they've had some practice with big defensive ends. Remember against Northwestern, the big Wooten.
Yeah, he did nothing.
He
Corey
did nothing.
Wooten did absolutely nothing. He's overrated. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Eastern on a 2nd down and 5. Gillette out of the gun. Pressure coming from the edge. They give inside. They fake the inside give, I should say, and Gillette keeps it. stumbling forward to the 27-yard line. Brian Nemirovsky.
Speaking of defensive backs, Ron English talking with Chris May after the interception, not about the pick or the run back, but about his positioning on the route. It looked like the receiver did have a step and a half on him, but May able to close quickly and make the interception.
Yeah, that's good. Always coach him. Nothing's perfect as a player. No play is defended perfectly or executed perfectly. There's always room for improvement.
Empty backfield for Alex Gillette on 3rd down and 3. Corey Welch split wide to the right. Trips to the right, twins to the left. Ball between the hashes.
Boy, no one's in the middle.
Gillette sees the same thing. Up the middle. 1st down and more. 15. Slides his way between a pair of defenders to the 10-yard line. Should be 1st and goal for Eastern Michigan.
I'm really surprised when Eastern with the empty set, 5 wideouts, they spread them out. Only 4 down linemen and 1 linebacker in the middle. Well, right now you got good numbers. You got 5 on 5. Everyone just gets on the jersey, creates some seams, and Gillette was able to take advantage of it on a quarterback draw. But now they're inside the 10, 1st and goal, and this is where they've had their problems. Well, I would be surprised to come out and throw on 1st down.
Eastern leads at 20-13. Just the 2nd time they've had 20 points or more this year.
Look at Nick Olds out here, man. He's got to go either way. He can go slant or he can go fade.
He's one-on-one. Instead, they go inside handoff, jet handoff to DeAnthony White. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan.
Now Eastern's better when they're further away. You know, they get down to that real short yardage and struggle. But when you got 10 yards and a lot of space, they ran the jet sweep to DeAnthony White. He got a nice block by Nick Olds outside, staying up, staying on, not holding, and that's tough because you're under the microscope as a wideout. And he was able to get the kickout block, and D. White did the rest with his speed.
Impressive opening drive to start this 3rd quarter for Eastern Michigan. They force the 3rd turnover of the game, and now an extra point away from going up by 14. It's up and it's through. A season high in points for Eastern Michigan already. They lead the Cardinals 27-13. More to come from Ypsilanti with 10:44 left in the 3rd. This is EMU football. Back at Rynearson Stadium, Matt Shepard, Rob Rubik, Eastern in front of Ball State 27-13. Brian Nemirovsky's roaming the sidelines. What do you got down there for us, Nemo?
Well, DeAnthony White hustling it in from 10 yards out. Got a huge reception on the EMU sideline. We talked a couple weeks ago at Central Michigan about a lukewarm response from the running backs. Well, White got a big bear hug from Corey Welch, who scored today. Then Dwayne Priest got in on the man love. It was just a big love fest down here. It's nice to see the guys getting together, but I guess having a big lead can do that for you.
Nemo, did you just say man love?
I did.
Okay.
That's how you always describe it when
Not
we hug,
on the
Rob.
air, though, Nemo.
Oh, sorry, missed that.
He says it behind your back too, Nemo. That'll make you feel good.
Oh, what a nice way to start the second half offensively. The Eagles are 4 plays, 29 yards, and able to finish with a touchdown. Now 5 times in the red zone, 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Ken Karcher will take that.
DeAnthony White's first touchdown of the season. And Eastern Michigan has to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now. They have an interception, couple fumble recoveries. If they could only get the football to stay on the tee, we'd be going just fine, wouldn't we?
I think Stan Parrish offensively probably like to just stay with that Wildcat formation, but he realizes they probably only have those couple plays out of it. But Eastern's going to figure that out, how to defense that, and they got to get some protection out of Tanner Justice. I thought he'd be the key to the game, and right now I think he is. He's 1 for 9, 1 interception at -7 yards.
Brutal.
No matter how good McQuail Lewis is, ultimately your quarterback has got to be able to make some plays.
Remember, they lost Eric Williams early on. They thought he was going to be the Wildcat quarterback. I don't know if that's changed much. Gibson inside the 10. He fumbled it out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Self-destruct.
Yep. You said it in the first half. Hurting yourselves. And that's what bad teams do more often than not. That causes them more losses than victories. And Ball State has done it to themselves here today.
You know, when you look at Ball State's stats, they've rushed for 202 yards. They've passed for -7. That's just, talk about balance. Teams always want some type of balance in their offense. This is about as unbalanced as you could get.
Well, they're also -3 in the turnover.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, that's horrific. Eastern has held Briggs Orsman without a catch, and he averages 6 per game, 35th best in the nation.
I think he misses his quarterback.
Justice gives to Sykes. Corey Sykes bounces to the outside, has good speed to the edge. Chris May sealed him off there and pushed him out of bounds.
Sykes on the carry.
5th tackle of the day for Chris May, who's having himself another good day. Came into the game with 20 tackles, a couple of them for losses, 3 picks. He's got 5 tackles and an interception already here today. Marty Cardwell leads the way with 8 wrap-ups for Eastern. 10:20 left to go in the third. Left to right come the Cardinals. Ball at the far side hash, and it sits at their own 7-yard line, or 11-yard line, I should say. Sykes left side again. Broke free past the 15 and got enough for a first down. Just the 9th first down of the day for Ball State, who had 18 last week against Bowling Green.
First and 10, Ball State.
In that game, Ball State had 404 total yards. A season high 273 yards on the ground. Miles Tremp is split wide to the right for the Cardinals. Orsman same to the left. I formation behind Tanner Justice, who gives to McQuail Lewis.
Actually, Matt, I think Lewis is
Sykes on
out of the
carry.
game. That was Sykes. I'm wondering
Is
if
that Sykes
Lewis
again?
Is,
Yeah, it
Lewis
was
has not
Sykes.
been in, although he comes waddling in right now. And I say waddling, you know, he only stands 5'6", yet he weighs 190 pounds.
Neither one of their tailbacks is, I mean, Corey Sykes is only 5'7". It's tough to see him. You kind of lose sight of it. And that's what Ron English told Brian Nemirovsky in the pregame. You know, you can lose sight, so you must keep leverage. You have to maintain it because Lewis is tough to find. Out of the Wildcat, Lewis fakes the inside give, then sprints up the middle and gets to the 29-yard line. Another first down opportunity. Sure looks like he has enough, and they'll move the chains.
Ball State.
But if you're Tanner Justice, you got to feel like, man, if I could just make a couple of
Lewis
throws,
on the carry.
my team might be able to get right back in this.
Well, he's into the win here in the third quarter. That's why Eastern needs to keep this lead, if not expand on it, because you got to believe if Ball State has to throw it in the fourth quarter, it'd be nice for them to have the wind at their quarterback's back.
Wildcat again. Sykes comes in motion. Lewis fakes the give to him, keeps it, makes a nice dancing move, gets to the 35, breaks a tackle, look out 40, 45-50, 45-40, near side 35-30, 25, stops, and sneaks inside the 20 to the 19-yard
Lewis
line.
on the carry.
Barrington Hicks caught up with him from the side, far side cornerback position, and wrapped him up inside the red zone.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for Eric Lewis, the defensive coordinator, right now out of that Wildcat, and they just run 2 plays and you can't stop them. I mean, you know, they're just putting up some huge numbers in the rushing game.
That's the second 51-yard gain of the day for Ball State. The other was by Corey Sykes on a touchdown run.
McQuail Lewis is approaching 200 yards.
Tanner Justice under center. Sykes the lone setback. He'll get the call. Right up the middle to the 10. Took on Chris May and driven backwards at the 8-yard line. But another good first down run, first and goal for the Cardinals. Boy, they are just chewing them up and spitting them out.
We need an ID.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to EMU
First and goal
football.
at the 7.
Brian Nemirovsky on the sidelines. Our executive producer is Jeff Fulton. John Patelka, our network engineer. Byron Marshall, our engineer, back into the WCHB studios. Eastern leads Ball State 27-13. Cardinals trying to drive, and Mikhail Lewis wrapped up as soon as he touches the football. Ryan Leonard in on that tackle yet again. So is Javon Reese. Reese, with 7 tackles for loss coming into the game, 3rd in the MAC and 27th in the country in tackles for loss per game.
If you're Eastern right now and Eric Lewis, defensive coordinator, you'd probably like to do some run blitz, start bringing guys up. But with McQuail Lewis, he's so elusive. If he makes you miss, then you have no linebackers there, and he's into the end zone before you know it.
Now they'll run the Wildcat. Sykes comes in motion. They give it to him. Right side, cut it up, touchdown, untouched. Corey Sykes, 2nd touchdown run of the game and 2nd of his young Ball State career. I'll tell you who's made a big difference. The guy who, when they ran that jumbo package with Andrew Puthoff, they brought him from defensive end to fullback. He's run fullback and a little bit of tight end. He's done a really good job blocking. Eight plays, 93 yards for the Ball State Cardinals, and they use a little bit more than 4 minutes off the Rynearson Stadium clock. The extra point is up and through, and just like that, we're back down to a 1-possession game. It's the Eagles 27 and the Cardinals 20 with 6:37 remaining in the third. This is EMU football. We'll be right back. Yards. It was previously 177 at CMU last year. So far today here against Eastern Michigan, 182 yards. And we still have 6:37 to go in the third.
And Corey Sykes has 126 between them, 308 yards rushing.
Wow. So Ball State will kick it deep. Johnny Sears and Corey Welch. It's been a more offensive-minded game than I thought.
Yeah,
I mean, when I came in, I'm thinking, okay, Ball State averages 20 points per game. Eastern averages 13.5 points per game. This should be a low-scoring game, but it has been anything but. Welch backpedals and will take the kickoff at the 4. 10, 15, up the middle, 20, 25, to the outside 30, 35, and down at the 37-yard line. And that late flag from where it came usually indicates a penalty against the kick return club.
And it came so late. There was no one in the area. Maybe once he was grabbing for the flag and couldn't find it. But it's going to push. That's going to be about a 30-yard penalty for the Eagles. Instead of being out near the 40, they're going to be back on their 11 or 12-yard line. I look for the Eagles to use some more of that jet sweep. They used it early on for some success, and they had the touchdown run by Anthony White. And maybe you'll see that a little bit more here in this drive.
Eagles led by Kyle McMahon now, moving right to left and leading 27-20 with 6.5 to go here in the third. McMahon on a 3-step drop, fires it, and off the fingertips of Nick Olds. Should have had it.
Yeah, he's got to have that one. That was thrown perfectly by Kyle McMahon to the backside a little bit. And a 5-yard gain, but now they're looking at 2nd and 10, and that's what they have to avoid. They don't throw the ball extremely well. You don't want to put yourself in passing situations.
Nope. 2nd and 10. Ball between the hashes, but it's closer to the near side hash than the far. It sits at the EMU 12. McMahon gives. Dwayne Priest reverses and comes to the near side, and he's wrapped up. Good tackle by Alex Knipp.
Priest on the carry.
Yeah, there's that 3rd and long you were talking about, bud.
Yeah, you look at the Eagles so far today. Not bad, 5 for 11 on 3rd down conversions, but I'd like to have a stat on 3rd down and 8 or more. I'm not sure they've may have converted 1 today.
Kyle McMahon, 5 of 12 for 34 yards on the afternoon. Two wide receivers.
Empty set.
No, actually 3 now to the right. DeAnthony White and Ja'Cory Stone, along with Nick Olds. McMahon out of the gun. Stands tall, lofts it right side,
Misread.
and Nick Olds broke it off on an out pattern.
Well,
and
I
McMahon thought he was going to do a fly
And I
pattern.
think McMahon's right. That time Ball State came up with Jason Pinkston in press coverage, and we talked about earlier, as a receiver in that situation, you got to adjust to the fade route, and that's what McMahon threw was the fade. Instead, Olds stayed with the initial call of running an out. That's execution. I see Zach get one of his, turn this one over about a 70-yard punt.
7 times he's had one for 50 or more. He fielded it right at his own goal line. Pressure comes and it's blocked. And through the end zone for a safety. And Zach
hurt.
Johnson remains down. What a play by the Ball State special teams. Boy, there was a lot of pressure up there, a lot.
Oh, even bigger than the safety if Zach Johnson is down. He's been, you hate to say it, but he's probably been the best player on this Eastern team this year. That's your punter. That's why you're 0-6.
Brian Nemorowski will be all over that. What an opportunity for Ball State. Robert Edens came in and had the block. That's his 2nd block of the season. And the Cardinals will get it back now after pulling within 5. It's 27-22 Eagles with 5:33 remaining in the 3rd. This one's far from over. This is EMU football. State with a long drive. They end up scoring. They pull within 7. And then, after they hold defensively, they block a punt. And on that block punt, Zach Johnson is injured. It hurts him in so many ways.
You know, it hurts you right now because after a safety, you want your punter to do the free kick to get the hang time to get down the field. Instead, Joe Carruthers is going to have to come on and kick it off from his own 20. So Ball State's looking at probably getting good field position, probably on their at least out to their 40-yard line.
Carruthers will kick it from the 20. And they kick it toward Toriel Gibson from his 21. 25-30, 35. Boy, a very gingerly-like run up the near sideline. And Ball State will take over 1st and 10 there.
Really a pretty good job in coverage and kick by Joe that time.
Yep.
Only out to the 36-yard line. So, but defensive, you got to make some adjustments here. Somebody's got to make some plays. You see Ron English out coaching pretty hard right now. He's talking to Tim Ford, who that is. Arrington Hicks actually he's talking to.
Ball State has rushed for 295 yards on the day. That is a season high. It is the 2nd time they've gone over 200. and the 5th time this year they've rushed for 100 yards or more in a ball game. McQuail Lewis has led the way. Their outstanding running back has rushed for a career-best single-game record 182 yards. It's the 15th time he's had 100 or more in his career. Tanner Justice out of the gun. Inside give, Corey Sykes flag on the play. He's wrapped up at the 36. Brian Nemirovsky.
The injury news on Zach Johnson somewhat uncertain right now. It's his kicking foot, his right foot, that they're looking at, some of the fragile bones down toward the toe. Zach could not put any weight on that foot as he came off the field. And head team physician Dr. Wally Rozier checking it out right now. They're debating whether to take him for x-rays, but Johnson already starting to recover mentally and verbally, saying that he thinks he can return to the ballgame.
If he can't, Nemo, you get the sense Joe Carruthers then takes over as the punter, right?
I would say probably Patrick Treppa.
Or Treppa?
Yeah, Treppa has done more of the number 2 punting, if you will. He and Zach punt to each other during practice.
You always have a friend that way.
Yep, 1st and 18 after the penalty to Ball State. Sykes left side. You know, we talk about momentum. Eastern Michigan did a good job bottling them up there.
Offsides defense. That just kills you, man. I'm sorry to jump on you, but you got them 1st down and 20. You stop for a 1-yard gain, and now you give them 5 freebies back.
Well, that kills that thought.
Yeah, and
I was going to say, I mean, you could the momentum could swing just the other way if your defense holds, and yet you give them a freebie.
And you finally get a nice stop against the run.
Just the 2nd penalty of the day against Eastern Michigan, though. 41st of the year, 4:45 remaining here in the 3rd. Eastern leads it by 5, 27-22, ball between the hashes on the 31-yard line of Ball State.
Sprint.
They give to Sykes left side. Cut it up, 35, 40. Oh, man, he was so close to breaking that. And the ball came loose, but he has already whistled down. Who else but Chris May was right there to scoop it up just in case. That's a big play right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought they might run that sprint draw. They like, when Sykes is in there, they don't run him between the tackles. They run him outside. Now, that time they run.
Well, he cuts it up sometimes, but he starts to the edge, doesn't he?
They run the jet sweep, and they run the outside zone with him, and he does a nice job of stretching it. Then when he sees a little seam, he uses that speed to get north and south.
2nd down and 6 after a pickup of 7 on that play. Wildcat again for McQuail Lewis. 2 wide receivers to the right. Sykes comes in motion, inside fake. Lewis right up the gut, weaving his way toward the near side. Somebody lost a bucket, and he got to the 41, maybe 42-yard line. And that was McQuail Lewis who lost his helmet. Oh, the play is dead as soon as that happens, so they'll mark him at the 42. Still picked up a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it 4.
Well, they need to stop right now.
Yes,
2 for 7, Ball State has been. But this is a big play here with the 3rd quarter winding down. Eastern's going to find himself into the win here shortly.
Well, you don't think they're going to throw it, do you?
No.
Ball between the hashes.
Shocked.
2 to the right, 2 to the left for Tanner Justice. He is going to throw it. Steps up. He's got time. Slings it. Oh, and it's caught at the 50-yard line. Are you kidding me?
Good coverage, too, by Marty Cardwell. Good break on the ball.
Toriel Gibson with his 22nd catch of the year.
That's why you catch it in your hands in front of your body. Toriel reached out and caught the ball. And if he tries to catch it on his body, it's going to be incomplete because Marty Cardwell was hitting him. But he used his hands as a nice shock absorber and was able to bring the ball in.
Wasn't that bad of a throw by the former walk-on Tanner Justice. Ball resting at midfield at the far side hash. Ball State is moving left to right with 3:10 to go in the 3rd. 27-22 EMU. Justice gives to Lewis. Lewis broke a tackle and stumbles forward to the 45.
Well, Brandon Downs almost ran him down from the backside. Lewis able to just loot a little bit, hobbles off.
Lewis on the carry.
And I'll bring number 7, Sykes, back into the game. It's pick your poison time for the Eagles defense.
A couple of these Eastern Michigan defenders were mid-season all-MAC selections. Downs a 2nd-teamer, Sears a 3rd-teamer. Andy Fretz was a mid-season 3rd-teamer, and Zach Johnson was mid-season all-Mid-American Conference. I formation behind Tanner Justice. He'll give it to Lewis. No, it's Sykes. Sykes got the 1st down. His helmet came off, too. He picked up about 6 or 8 on the play.
Sykes on the carry.
That'll be the 14th first down for the Cardinals now. They've passed the Eagles. 320 yards of offense,
37-yard line for Ball State.
315 on the ground.
Wow. That is incredible. Is that the definition of a team who can run the ball? When the opposition knows they have to run it and they're still successful doing it?
Absolutely.
1st and 10 for Ball State, left to right. Again, the give to Sykes. There's a seam there. Got to the 30, outside 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Corey Sykes, his 3rd of the day, and Ball State has their first lead of the afternoon.
You can feel this one slipping away from the Eagles right now. No answer for this running game of Ball State. They're just having their way, running the ball up and down the field. And you just limit your exposure for failure when you can run the football. You don't have to worry about sacks, incompletes, interceptions. You can run the ball. Every coach will tell you, why throw it?
They run it very well. You wonder why they even attempted some of the passes earlier in the ball game. Of course, Justice has only tried it 10 times, and he has 1 pick. Here's the extra point to give the Cardinals a 2-point lead, and it's good. It's 29-27. Ball State with 9 unanswered to take their first lead of the day. 1:47 to go in the 3rd. It was a 6-play, 64-yard drive in more than 3.5 minutes. More from Ypsilanti when we return after this. This is EMU football. Nearson alongside Rob Rubik. I'm Matt Shepard. Brian Nemirovsky on the sidelines. Eastern Michigan in a 29-27 hole for the first time. A squib kick fielded by Lorenzo Seabury past the 35 to the 37-yard line. And now Eastern Michigan's offense has to get going here, Rob.
Absolutely, Matt. I'd like to see him try to run that jet and get DeAnthony White involved, as we see Ball State. We've seen what Ball State has done with their speedy back and Corey Sykes, getting them outside, let them run it, stretch the defense a little bit, and then cut it north and south. And I think DeAnthony White also has that type of capability.
Alex Gillette will trot back out there. He'll lead the offense on this drive for EMU, moving right to left with 1:42 to go here in the 3rd. Led at one point 20-6 and now trail 29-27. Gillette out of the gun. Gives to Corey Welch. Feels his way close to the 40. They'll mark him down at about the 38. A pickup of 3. 2nd down and long for EMU.
Welch on the carry.
Ben Thayer now in. Garrett Hoskins out. Ja'Cory Stone gets a breather, and Tyrone Burke hustles in.
Boy, the edge EMU in offense has gone away. They're only 210 to 357 now, and they were up for most of the first half.
Empty backfield, and Tyrone Burke is offsides. He lined up offsides. Nobody caught it. Jet motion, inside give. DeAnthony White to the 45, shy of the first down. 1:02 to go in the 3rd.
I'd run the same play again. Picked up 5 yards. You got 3rd down and 3. You're not having any success running between the tackles in these short yardage situations. Wonder if D. White can throw the ball a little bit.
He can.
Run that jet pass. Those corners got to be coming up pretty hard right now. They better hurry up.
Eastern 5 for 12 on 3rd down so far today. Empty backfield. Alex Gillette out of the gun. 2 wide receivers to left, 3 to the right. The inside is Ben Thayer.
Quarterback draw.
Gillette throws left, and it's fumbled and incomplete.
Execution.
A little low, but DeAnthony White should have caught it.
He's not very tall. That's right at his waist. Well thrown ball by Gillette. Now you're in a 4th down situation. Possible fake punt here. I mean, you got
I don't
Zach
know.
Johnson coming into the game to punt here. I'm looking. Looks like
No,
Joe
he's not.
Treppa. Maybe a hard count, 4th and 3. Ball State playing the prevent, though. They're looking to prepare for any type of fake.
So Patrick Treppa from his own 30, and now Eastern calls a timeout. 33 seconds to go in the third. Cardinals lead at 29-27. We'll have more when we return to Ypsilanti after this brief pause. This is EMU football. The year rolls inside the 15 and down. Not a bad punt at about the 12-yard line or so. A 43-yard boot, no return. Ball State up by 2, has 20 seconds left of this third quarter to try and hold on to that lead. Now it's up to the EMU defense that has not been able to solve that running game puzzle.
Well, it's not much of a puzzle. They run 2 plays out of the Wildcat.
That's true.
They're just getting outplayed up front.
Tanner Justice gives to Mikhail Lewis. Spun around shy of the 15. Dragged down by Tim Fort, who had 9 tackles going into the game. Has a couple here today. That's the last play of the third. We head to the fourth with Eastern down by 2. We'll bring it to you on a cloudy Saturday afternoon from Ypsilanti after this. This is EMU football. Michigan led through most of this game. They're up 20-6 at one point. But, Rob, ever since then, it's been almost all Ball State. Eastern Michigan just unable to solve that Ball State ground attack that has put up a season-best numbers right now.
Been meals for wheels for Ball State
Yeah,
here in the
that's right.
second half. They're just running up and down the field. And like I said, when they're in the Wildcat, Matt, they run 2 plays, and out of their base set, they run 2 other running plays. They're
Well,
only
but
really
that's
running 4 different plays.
It's credit to their execution, though, isn't it?
Right,
Those
and-
guys up front really do a good job.
And now they do have the wind at the back of Tanner Justice, so they have the ability possibly to throw here as well. So it's going to put a little more pressure on this Eagle defense.
Justice last week, 6 of 21 for 92 yards against Bowling Green.
Those
Today,
numbers look pretty good right now.
yeah,
compared
today
to
2 of 10. Up the middle. And not much going there for the running game of Ball State, but when you look at their overall numbers and their ground attack, and especially McQuail Lewis, season high, and for Lewis, a career high in yards on the ground. You can understand why they keep feeding number 33 the football. Third down and 5 with the ball resting at the 18-yard line of Ball State.
So I'd be shocked if they don't go Wildcat here in third. This is what they do, and they'll just probably hand it on the jet, or McQuail will keep it up the middle.
Corey Sykes is split wide left. He'll come in motion, and here he comes. They'll give it to him. Right side, and feeling his way, and he's going to be brought down short of the first down yard marker. Arrington Hicks came over and made a really nice play.
Well, if you're Ball State, I know Stan Parrish.
Well, there's a temptation
we're running,
there, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, we're averaging about 7 yards a run right here, and you got 4th and 1. But your own end, you have the wind at your back. You can punt out. Your defense has done a pretty good job. They've allowed 1 touchdown here in the opening drive of the second half. Besides that, they've shut them down. I think you might have to get a little bit deeper here if you're Ja'Cory Stone.
Stone with his heels at the 40.
I'm not sure about the wind. As Nemo said, it's a swirling wind here right here.
Scott Cavanda has hit a 63-yarder so far this year. Pressure coming. They almost got it. A low-line drive that doesn't turn over and is fielded at the 45-yard line of EMU. It's just a 34-yard kick, but Eastern really brought some heavy pressure.
Well, nice job by Trey Hunter, too, because he was the one getting pressure from the outside. And I say nice job, he didn't block it, Matt, but he also didn't rough the punter. He had a good angle, and you're coached. When you come from the outside, you don't look at the punter. You know where he's going to hit the ball from. That is your attack area where you want to run through and stretch your body out, because you got to anticipate he's going to take his 2 or 3 steps, or if he's a 2 or 3 step punter. And that's what Trey Hunter did. And he missed the ball, but he also missed the punter.
And if you're going to take that Superman dive, you want your hands interlocked, don't you? Because you don't want that.
It's like a volleyball blocker in the front row. If you're a middle blocker, you want to keep your hands together. You don't want to give a gap through, because you've seen it. You've seen it too many times, or it looks like they're going to block, and it goes right through the arms.
Kyle McMahon under center for Eastern, left to right, trailing by 2. McMahon fakes the handoff, and
he's got it.
The reverse, wide open downfield. Nick Olds and overthrows him.
Boy, Dwayne Pre showing some frustration there too, because that was you've been setting that up almost the whole game, and that's where you have to finish.
Sometimes those can be the most difficult throws, can't they?
Yeah, when the guy's wide open. And that's going to take Kyle McMahon out of the game. He's in there for that pass.
You gotta be careful though on how you react, just because. You know, it's not like every pass has been caught today. It's not like every hole has been hit. Well, every block has been made.
And I don't think he got pulled because of the bad pass. I think it was just a situation.
I'm talking about players.
Yeah, he was in there to make the pass.
Yeah. DeAnthony White on a jet inside give. Oh, and he's rocked shy of the 50-yard line.
Still a nice 6-yard gain. I mean, that's been their best running play.
DeAnthony White on the carry.
And couldn't you, if you're a Ball State follower, say, you know, they don't run a whole lot out of that play either. I mean, you talked about Eastern Michigan trying to cover the Wildcat and just a couple of things they do. I mean, Eastern Michigan doesn't do anything fancy on that type of situation. 2 wide receivers split wide to the right and to the left. Now they add a third to the right in an empty backfield, 3rd down and 5. Alex Gillette out of the gun. Left to right comes Eastern, trailing by 2. Ball at midfield, far side hash. Gillette, pressure up, coming from the middle, and down he goes. Tough time to take a sack. Adam Morris with his 2nd sack of the year.
And Ball State did a nice job on the pass rush, getting pressure from the outside, but also staying in their lanes with their defensive tackles, not allowing anything to be pushed and create a seam in the middle of the field, because you know Alex Gillette's going to tuck it and run it. Nowhere for him to go. Good defensive stop for Ball State. Patrick Treppa. I called Joe earlier. I apologize if Mom and Dad are listening here today. But
he'll kick it deep. Toriel Gibson just inside his own 20. 12 minutes and counting left in this ball game. 29-27 Ball State. Treppa, boy, it took a long time to get rid of it, but he did deliver. Bounced outside the 30, rolls inside the 30, and out of bounds at the 26-yard line. A 33-yard kick.
Not bad. Into the wind, no return. Got a little benefit of the hop there, but now the Eagles defense will be called upon again here.
You know, just to go back to, you know, I know it's frustrating, especially when a guy is wide open, but earlier in this ball game, we've seen Nick Olds drop a pass. We saw DeAnthony White drop a pass.
Right, that's execution.
Right,
that's why you're 0-6.
Exactly, but it's how you handle certain situations. I couldn't recall either Kyle McMahon or Alex Gillette showing the outer frustration of those players not making the play. So when Tyrone Burke comes to the sideline and starts to show his how much he's upset. You have to be careful on how you're displaying it. That's all. McQuail Lewis past the 30 to the 31-yard line and a solid first down running game.
I think the Eagles were exposed last week against Kent State on the ground, and you're seeing it even more here today with Ball State. Obviously, getting the film, looking at it.
Yeah.
They knew coming in they were going to be able to do some things offensively. I'm not sure they thought they'd have this type of success. 365 yards rushing and 42 carries.
2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Tanner Justice under center and a 2nd down and 4 from their own 31. The give to the tailback, McQuail Lewis. Flag on the play as he rolls to the 34-yard line.
They get your boy there, Matt, for a hold. I'm not sure.
I think they will. I think that's exactly who it's on. I think it's on Andrew Puthoff.
That's a huge play against a running team.
Yeah. Nope, they're going to call it on number 72, Cameron Lowry, the redshirt freshman.
Both in the same area, but if you're a passing team, it's easier to overcome this sometimes. Although if you're averaging 7 yards a run, as Ball State is today, you still got to feel confident. I mean, they had a 3rd and 31 early in this game, which they picked up.
And Ball State's big up front, aren't they? Their tackles 6'6" and 6'5" respectively. Their guards are 6'5" and 6'8" respectively. And Craig Hunter is a stout 6'3", 300 at the center position. All of them coming back. 2 wide receivers to the right for the Cardinals. They'll work out of the Wildcat formation. McQuail Lewis fakes the handoff to Sykes inside. Found an opening. Look out, 30, 35, 40. He's gone. 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, and dragged down by Arrington Hicks at the 12-yard line. What a run. And McQuail Lewis is absolutely feasting on the Eastern Michigan defense today.
He's going to go for pushing that Rynearson Stadium record. I remember that little guy from, where was it, SEMO or somewhere years ago, but he now, Matthew, has about 270 yards almost.
Oh, 270 yards.
23 carries, 267. Nemo made the call that he would be the key to the game, and we knew he was going to do damage. And I just think the quarterback has been inept enough where the Eagles really have had the opportunity to put this game away, but they haven't been able to do it.
Sykes up the middle to close to the 5-yard line.
They're averaging 44 rushes for 437 yards. I'm not a math major, that's just about 10 yards a pop.
So it's 2nd down and 4. They'll mark it officially at the 7-yard line. Ball at the near side hash.
I think I'd put 11 in a box, not even cover the receivers.
Sykes the tailback. They give it to him left side, and he's swallowed up
Ryan
by
Leonard.
Ryan Leonard. Just so we're clear, the Rynearson Stadium record is Robbie Mixon of Central Michigan, 377 yards. Astron Watley of Kent State rushed for 373. George Sworn of Miami rushed for 326, and then Garrett Wolf of Northern Illinois for 325 yards.
3rd and 5.
As a team, I wonder if they have the team rushing record, because they're at 443. Big play, though, Shep. They got to stop, force them in a field goal. It's still a nice 1-score game.
3rd down and 5 from the 8. Wildcat, high snap. Lewis hustles back and covers it up at the 26.
Wow,
That's
a
big
huge
break.
play. Now, Ball State's looking at a 42-yard field goal attempt. And Stan Parrish is sending out his I tell you, the kicker so far in the game, Stephen Schott, has shown a strong leg. Not Stephen Schott. Yeah, Stephen Schott has shown a strong leg, Matt. I mean, his extra points are going well into the track area here at Rynearson, so he's got plenty of leg.
Well, but he's only 1 for 1. His longest is 28. Ian McGarvey has more field goal attempts and makes.
I guarantee this will have plenty of leg.
Blocked! And then recovered by Ball State, and they're quickly swarmed under.
No flags either.
Johnny Sears with the block. Eastern has boasted 2 blocked kicks today, one by Ryan Leonard and one by Johnny Sears. Hopefully that turns the tide. 7:51 remaining. Ball State leads by 2. Eastern tries to answer the call when we come back to Rynearson Stadium after this. This is EMU football. Happened. Kyle McMahon gives to Dwayne Priest, hops his way left side, a little bit of an opening there, and gets to the 41-yard line.
Nice job straight ahead that time. A little bit different. We haven't
play.
seen that in a while. They've gone a lot of east and west with the jet here in the second half. That time, nice first down play, 6-yard gain. Once again, we talk about teams, we kind of belaboring this point, but self-destructing. Why Ball State's 0-7? They have the high snap when they're on the plus 12-yard line, puts them deep, and then they have the blocked field goal.
McMahon under center. Play action, rolls, throws, caught, no, then dropped.
Catch the ball, fellas.
John Bonner, the intended receiver.
I think the last 3 or 4 passes, one was overthrown on Olds on the reverse pass.
Yeah, the fake reverse.
Yeah,
they
fake
faked
reverse, and they threw the pass, and then the other 3 have been dropped.
How do you call that? You play action to the
play
tailback,
action,
and then you
fake
get the wide
dive,
receiver.
fake reverse,
Yeah, fake
kind of hide it
reverse.
on your hip and drop back.
Or fake end around, yeah.
You got to execute.
Third down and
2 teams
4.
not wanting to win here, it looks like, with execution.
From the EMU 41. Trips to the right in an empty backfield for Kyle McMahon. Welch by himself on the left side. Ball at the far side hash. 7:11 to go in the ball game. McMahon lofts it for the corner, wants Stone, and it's incomplete. Again, miscommunication. I mean, there's something going on down there where guys are just not communicating properly.
I don't know, this offense right now is just sputtering. I mean, you're trying to 3rd and 4, and you're trying to throw fade routes, and there's no more than 15 yards of the ball. I don't know. You got to have something else. You got to be able to run a drag with the tight end.
Yeah.
Get a back in the flat, something else.
about
Fades are not a high percentage completion pass.
Just a curl route. Quick slant, something like that.
But it's execution. John Bonner drops the ball. It's a first down.
Patrick Treppa on for another punt. Remember, Zach Johnson was injured on the Ball State blocked punt. They come again and nearly got it. Fielded at the 25, but good downfield coverage by EMU. Brian Nemirovsky.
Now, clearly a key possession here for the EMU defense, and I want to tell you, they are fatigued. The entire linebacking core stayed on the bench until well after that punt was kicked. They want to get every possible moment of rest that they can, and I think you'll see a lot of different personnel moving through on this critical possession as they try to contain Ball State's running game.
Well, you know, your linebackers are going to be tired. I mean, Ball State's only run 57 offensive plays, which is not over, abundance, but the problem is they're all running plays. And on linebackers, that's when it's physical. You know, you're battling, you're getting off blocks, you're trying to pull down backs, and you're running, and it's much tougher than if your linebacker and the team is throwing the ball 57. You're just taking drops and you're zoning. There's not the strength part of it. It's just more of the cardio.
Well, we have seen a lot of the backers. Neil Howie's in. We've seen Andy Malumba, Tim Fort, Marcus English, Andre Hatchett, of course. Hatchett and Howie are on the inside. Ball State, 1st and 10 from their own 29. They lead by 2 with under 7 minutes to go in the ballgame. One of these teams will squeak out its first win of the year. Corey Sykes. Oh, he snowed under. Good play by Brandon Slater.
A little gap integrity there. Everyone coming up the field. No natural seams opening up. Defeat your man in front of you, and you have a winning defensive play.
Slater's second tackle for loss this year. They dropped Corey Sykes for a 2-yard setback. Second down and long, 6:33 and counting.
Now you have a quarterback that's 2 for 10 for 1 pick and 1 yard. You got to win that football game.
Absolutely.
And you can make a team that one-dimensional.
Although there was an NFL game earlier this year where Derek Anderson completed just 2 passes and they won. Corey Sykes up the middle. He was able to get a little bit of freedom there and get to the 32. Tim Fort in on that tackle. Third down and 8. 10 tackles now for Tim Fort. That's more than he had the entire year coming in. Key play right here.
We might see the ball in the air. I didn't think I would say that in this game.
Well, remember, they converted a third down last time. It was a third down and long, and they converted it through the air. They'll try it here. Flush from the pocket, and Andre Hatchett wrapped him up.
Flag him. There you go.
It is a flag because
There's
Tanner
no way.
Justice was in the grasp and threw the ball intentional grounding. Good blitz by Andre Hatchett. Perfect timing.
You know, I know Coach Stan Parrish is lobbying saying there was a receiver in the area. The receiver's about 10, 15 yards from the ball, but the quarterback was not even looking in his direction. That time when Justice rolled it, he was just throwing the ball out of bounds, and that's a good call.
Now, the reason a head coach argues against something like that is because that is a spot foul.
And it's, you know, it's
Well,
loss
lost
of
it down,
down.
but you're gonna punt it anyway if it was incomplete.
But that's a 10-yard.
But yeah,
10 yards of field position.
That's exactly
with
right.
5 minutes to go, and the Eastern looking at a field goal to possibly win this game.
Ja'Cory Stone stands between the 35 and the 40. Low snap. Low punt. Stone says, everybody get away. And the ball will be deadened at the 37-yard line. A 38-yard punt for Ball State. 5:23 to go in the fourth. Eastern down by 2, hoping to have an answer right here.
Well, this might be it. This might be the drive. If you're Eastern
Is that
Michigan
what you're
right
labeling
now,
it? Are you gonna label
this
it
is
the
gonna be the
drive?
drive. I just got a feeling that if they have to go 3 and out here and punt the ball, they may not see it again. If I'm Ball State, I take Tanner Justice out of the game, and I just run Wildcat and run, just run with McQuail, Lewis in the backfield, and just control the ball, eat the clock. So Eastern has to make the most of this. Pick up some first downs, move the ball down the field, set up a short field goal, and don't give them any time. I like the Eagles' chance if they can score, Matt, because this is not a Ball State team that's going to be able to whip the ball in 3 passes and take chunk yards down the field and get back in field position for themselves.
Let's remind people that Eastern has 2 timeouts at their disposal. 5:23 to go in the fourth. Cardinals 29, Eagles 27.
I thought they had 3, but they used that one
they-
to punt.
On the punt, right. It's Kyle McMahon at the helm. Operates under center. A wide receiver to the right, Nick Olds, and to the left, Ja'Cory Stone. The give to Dwayne Priest. Spinning and slicing his way through, breaking free into Ball State territory. That's good running right there by Dwayne Priest.
Yeah, and Dwayne Priest has had a nice day. That's his 17th carry for 80 yards, 82 yards. So he's been pretty solid, and that's one better running plays they've had in a while. Couldn't come at a more opportune time here with 5:12 and winding down. Now the Eagles, I'm guessing, into the win like this, to have a real fair chance. I think you almost probably got to get down near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I was just going to say 20-yard line, yep. McMadam got it to jump on a hard count.
Oh, they're going to call a false start, though.
Oh, boy, no way. Kyle McMahon did a good job on the hard count, and as soon as Eric Davis saw a couple of Cardinals jump offside and into that neutral zone, he snapped the football.
You just can't ill afford this. The Eagles drop balls, penalties at the worst time. You just get a nice run, first down and 10 on the plus side. There's
Olds
reasons
and Stone
for everything.
split wide to the left. 1st and 15 for EMU at midfield.
Look at the cushion they give on the corner up top.
4:35 remaining. The give to Priest. Oh, nothing doing there. Lost a yard.
I just think they're giving you the hitch.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Olds.
Yeah, they are.
You look at the cornerback to Nick Olds' side. That's Corrine Birch. He's playing 10 yards off, and his first step is back. So I mean, you can just run 5 yards,
or
hits,
7. Drive him off and come
and
back
they're just
a
giving
little
it
bit.
to you.
That tackle made by
Now the
David
wind is
Jones.
picking up, and look at the flags are blowing. It looks like the Eagles are really going into the teeth of it here.
4 minutes to go in the ball game. This is 2nd down and 14. Welch the lone setback. Out of the gun, McMahon. Ball at the near side hash. Drops back, throws across the middle, and incomplete. Drop by Nick Olds, his 2nd drop of the game.
Catch the ball.
That would have put him at the 40, and it would have been a 3rd down and 5. Instead, it's 3rd down and 14.
Nemo, I haven't been around here. What happened to Marvon Sanders? Is Marvon injured or?
Marvon is on the bench here today. He's dressed and ready to go, but some of the freshmen, Olds and Thomas, have beaten him out for playing time.
Well, if Olds has beaten him out with, he must have been done poorly in practice, because right now I like Marvon because he's a guy that can make people miss in space too.
Actually been on the scout team in that Central Michigan week. McMahon out of the gun on a 3rd down, spins away from pressure.
Got a lot of room. He's got bent
rolls
there.
to the near side, throws, and it is caught. Inbounds, shy of the 1st down by Nick Olds, and a flag on the play. A late flag on the play.
He stepped out of bounds before he caught it. Referee took his, or field judge took his hat off, so it will not be a legal catch.
Because in college, if you're forced out, you can come back, but if you go out on your own volition, then you cannot.
Good call, Nemo. That's a loss of down as well.
Now you got to punt.
And again, 2 timeouts.
That's Nick Olds. I mean, you cannot run out of bounds with no one there. I don't.
So, the penalty really is called illegal touching, I believe, because you cannot be the first one to touch the football after going out of bounds. And now there's a timeout. Ball State takes a timeout.
You can be the first to touch it if you go out of bounds if you are pushed.
Right.
We saw that with Eric Deloria here a few years back. He was running a fly route and they pushed him out of bounds. He came back in, established himself, and caught the ball. And I don't know who they were playing, but they were screaming that he was out of bounds. Well, he was, but it doesn't matter if you are jammed. Now, in the NFL, once you're out, you cannot be the first to touch it, whether you go out on your own or you're pushed out.
Eastern Michigan with just 1 home game after this, Rob.
Some scores get caught up on here, Matt. We got a minute Northwestern, a winner over Indiana today, 29-28. Ohio State all over.
Indiana missed a field goal as time ran out. But
Ohio State 38-7 over Minnesota, opening up a can as Matt Shepard predicted. Get back some other scores here in a minute.
Patrick Treppa to kick it deep. At the 10-yard line stands Toriel Gibson.
Treppa back to punt.
On the run, Gibson from the 20 and 25. Neil Howie drove him out of bounds. By the way, senior day here at Rynearson Stadium, November 14th against the Broncos of Western Michigan.
Another score of interest, crosstown, across Washtenaw County, University of Michigan up 7-0 early on Penn State.
I got the Wolverines winning that outright.
Yeah, and Purdue 24-14 over Illinois. We'll get some chance to get some max scores caught up here.
Of course, tonight, MSU hosting number 6 or 7, depending on what poll you look at, Iowa.
Chippewas remain perfect in the MAC, 24-10 over Bowling Green.
7-1 on the year. They'll get more top 25 votes. They've been getting them the last few weeks. There's a give. McQuail Lewis squeezed through a hole, 30, 35, and tripped up at the 40-yard line by Arrington Hicks.
This was the fear if the Eagles could not convert on that last possession, that they may not get the ball back. Kent State 3-3 with Ohio. Northern Illinois beat Miami of Ohio 27-16.
Boy, Miami is winless.
The Broncos of Western Michigan up on Buffalo at halftime 17-7. No score in the first between Akron and Syracuse. Temple Toledo will be later on tonight.
That'll be a good game. A Toledo Temple showdown, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe we should head down there.
I would love to if I weren't going to a Halloween party. Tanner Justice under center. And the give to McQuail Lewis. And he's nailed.
Time.
Good tackle by Marty Cardwell.
Nice to have that third timeout right now.
Eastern burns one of their 2 remaining timeouts. 2:53 remaining. The Eagles trail the Cardinals 29-27.
Eastern calls timeout.
Now let's look ahead a little bit.
All right,
let's forecast that the Eagles can actually force Ball State to punt the ball and get the ball back. I think in that situation, Matt, you have to go empty set. You have to go 4 or 5 wideouts, 4 wideouts and a tight end, and just start whipping the ball around a little bit. You can't just do your basic formation with 2 wideouts and a running back and 2 tights. You just can't stretch the field quick enough. And I think they'll be better off getting Kyle McMahon back to spread him out a little bit. If there's nothing there quick, maybe he can run and pick up some yards. So I think you're going to see Eastern come out in that 2-minute offense and hopefully spread things out. But before that can happen, obviously, the defense has to continue playing and get the ball back.
Yeah, and 2 more stops is what they need because it's 2nd down and 11. Ball sits at the 39-yard line of Ball State, near side hash, right to left come the Cardinals with the wind at their back. 2:53 remaining. Eastern now just 1 timeout at their disposal. The give to Corey Sykes, hops his way past the 40, stumbles forward to about the 45-yard line, brings up a 3rd down and 5, and Eastern calls their final timeout.
Ron English I don't blame him. He's asking for about 3 or 4 more seconds on the clock. He's yelling timeout. He finally had to run about 8 yards on the field, put his timeout in front of the official's face. That's their last timeout.
Now, a lot of times coaches will tell the nearest referee or the nearest official to them, say, listen, when this play's over, I want a timeout right away.
If they don't get a first down, I want to use my timeout.
2:44 left in this one. 3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. To say this is the play of the game is an understatement, at least to this point anyway.
Eagles be into a pretty stiff win. Nemo's is still, will they be pretty much going right into the teeth of it if they get the ball back?
Yeah, I would say so. It's been a little steadier in the second half out of the south, which is the direction the Eagles are going into.
I think you got to sell out here, Matt. I think I bring linebackers, I bring everyone, come hard off the edge, take that jet sweep out of the equation.
Because as you've said, the best time to blitz is on a running play.
Yep.
Miles Trepp split wide to the right. Briggs Orsbin to the left for Ball State. I formation behind Tanner Justice. The give to Sykes, squeeze through a hole, first down, should be the ball game. Unless they turn it over, should be the ball game.
Sykes on the carry.
Ryan Leonard still down on the field.
First and 10 for Ball State.
They stopped the clock with 2:39 to go. And they marked the ball at the 49-yard line of Eastern Michigan. While they attend to Ryan Leonard, who's had a dynamite game, by the way. We'll step aside for a brief timeout. This is EMU football. Season best rushing yards for the Ball State Cardinals and a career high for McQuail Lewis has put them in this situation. They're in front of Eastern 29-27 with 2:20 remaining in the 4th, and Eastern unable to stop the clock again.
Now tell me this, how does Las Vegas know this? You know what the spread in this game was?
Yeah, 2.5.
And it's 29-27.
Ball
State was favored.
Ball State was favored by 2.5.
That just amazes me. Why do we even play the game?
I formation behind Tanner Justice. The give to Lewis. Left side, has some freedom. Past Cardwell, 30, and
Smart.
He stops really smart. He could have got maybe 4 extra yards. Andre Hatchett tracked him from behind, but he literally fell at the 25-yard line.
That might put him over 300 for the game, too.
3 touchdowns by Corey Sykes and 203 yards. McQuail Lewis now with 26 carries. And in addition to his 1 touchdown, he is approaching the 300-yard mark. He won't break the Rynearson Stadium record, I don't think, but
he'll be in the top 10. 301.
301.
Victory formation.
And Tanner Justice just takes a knee.
Second down.
Well, Eastern had every opportunity, Matt. They have no one to blame but themselves. Execution on the offensive side of the football, lack of the ability to stop the run defensively. I mean, this game was here for their taking. And for a while, it looked like neither team wanted to win it. Ball State was self-destructing as well with the shotgun over the head in the red zone, and then the block kick, a blocked extra point. They did 3 turnovers. They did everything in their power to let Eastern win this game, but Eastern just couldn't make the plays when they needed to. They got to be able to catch the football in the passing game and be able to throw the ball a little bit, and they were unable to do that.
Under a minute to go now. Victory formation again for Tanner Justice, who will lead his team to victory for the first time ever. Now, he may not be the main reason, that's for sure, but the Ball State Cardinals will earn their first victory of the season. They don't have to run another play. Eastern remains winless. 29-27 the final, and Ball State has now won 5 consecutive games against the Eagles in the series.
Well, the crowd starting to thin out here. They stayed for most of this game. It was always in doubt till the last couple minutes of the game, and now to make traffic a little worse than not here. Oh my. This game, Matt, is so frustrating. Nemo, what do you got for us?
Well, getting with Coach English here, coming off the field, a tough loss here at home by 2. What stands out to you most about the way this one ended?
Block punts, not being able to stop the run in the second half.
And on the offensive side?
To me, if you do what you're supposed to do defensively, you score that many points, you should win the game.
All right, Ron English with us following the ball game, clearly focused on the defense. Ball club that gave up, as Rob said, more than 300 rushing yards to Lewis. Ball State running attack that gets the 29-27 win on the road. Back upstairs to Matt Shepard and Rob Rubik to wrap things up.
Yeah, Nemo, thank you very much. I mean, you're talking about 2 guys, Nemo, who rushed for a combined 504 yards and 4 touchdowns. This is one of the more dominating rushing games that we have seen since we've been calling games here at Rynearson Stadium. I mean, this is a team that had literally no passing game. They threw for a yard, and yet they still won the ball game.
And had 3 turnovers. Eastern was up +3 in the
That's
turnover.
right.
Eastern didn't turn the ball over.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, everything was there for them to win this game, and you know it's not going to get any easier next week. They got to go down to Fayetteville and take on the
Easier.
Razorbacks and Ryan Mallett.
brutal.
It could be tough. It could be a tough day, and this was their opportunity to get on the win side of the ledger, and they couldn't come through. And hats off to Ball State. They were able to, on a big offensive line and a running attack, was able to take control of this game midway through the second quarter, early in the third, and they never relinquished it.
They've got a very tough uphill climb, that's for sure. Back-to-back road games now after this. Arkansas, Northern Illinois, then the final home game of the year against the Western Michigan Broncos. Final score 29-27 Ball State. For Jeff Fulton, John Patelka, Nick Hersey, Byron Marshall, our sideline reporter Brian Nemirovsky, my partner Rob Rubik. My name is Matt Shepard saying so long from Eastern Michigan. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you next week from Fayetteville, Arkansas, as the Eagles and Razorbacks clash for the first time in both those schools' history. You've been listening to EMU Football.